Insurance.net.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
I'm Doug Brown. World number one golfer Scottie Scheffler will be arraigned Tuesday on 4 charges, including second-degree felony assault of a police officer. Scheffler was arrested early today while on his way to the second round of the PGA Championship. A short time later, ESPN's Peter Burns arrived on the scene.
I asked an officer, I said, while we were waiting, I go, hey, what's it look like? We're trying to get into the broadcast facility. And they said, here's the situation. As you know, that there was a fatality accident earlier. We're investigating that. And then, quote, some blank tried to run over one of our cops.
Peter Burns. Scheffler says the whole thing is a misunderstanding. He says he started his warm-up routine for today's round in a jail cell. He shot a 66. He's now 9 under par, 2 shots behind the leader, Colin Morikawa. Coverage continues on ESPN and ESPN+. The Knicks hold a 3-2 series lead over the Pacers. Game 6 tonight in Indianapolis. Our coverage starts at 8 Eastern Time on ESPN Radio and TV.
As humans, we like having options. One option you might like is speaking with a real person when you call about your credit card. With 24/7 live, U.S.-based customer service from Discover, everyone can talk to a real person anytime, day or night. Limitations apply. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
Chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
The gentleman banging on consoles and cursing out mouses over there. Mice? Mouses? Mice? And Mr. Toby Tomplay. We're here to let you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Mouses, mice? I mean, I know it's mice.
We've had this conversation.
I know.
We've done this.
If you're talking about the little rodent, it's
right.
mice. But I really feel like for the device that allows you to move the cursor on a desktop, that would be mouses.
I just can't bring myself to say mouses, though. It sounds wrong. It's just it's not how it goes.
That's what it is. It's mouses. That's what we're rolling. Mice or rodents. All right, glad you're aboard with us here. Hey, Tigers win. LSU beats Ole Miss 4-2 in Game 2 of the series. So LSU wins the series. We haven't even gotten past this show on Friday. LSU's already won the series. Of course, a 4 o'clock first pitch, Game 1 on Thursday. Tigers would win 5-1. A game that was rain delayed. A 12 o'clock noon start today just went final. Griffin Herring finished the game for LSU, and the Tigers win it 4-2. LSU will be looking for the sweep on Saturday, and a sweep is exactly what they need to get to 13. So they've done to this point exactly what they needed to do. We'll run through all of it. Hey, real quick, Verge Ausberry in 12 minutes. Scott Rabelais had a report that LSU's looking to play a game in Ireland. So please have the Dropkick Murphys and all the necessary, maybe the Cranberries. What other Irish bands do we have out there? Dropkick Murphys are not Irish, but they play, shipping up to Boston. We got the Cranberries who are Irish. Anybody? U2. U2's an Irish band.
U2 is an Irish band.
We can do that. So Verge will be here in about 12 minutes. Dakorian Moore decommits from LSU. We'll talk about that next hour. Ben McDonald will be here. Mincy in hour 3. Ton to do, and glad you're here on AFR. Before we actually push off from the Doc Talk LSU baseball, I would just like to commend Scottie Scheffler on one of the most badass performances in the history of sports. And I don't even necessarily think golf is a sport. I think you have to be an athlete to play a sport. I think golf is a game. It's a very competitive game. It's a very challenging game. But I think athletes play sports. Anybody can play a game. That's not to say that athletes don't play golf. Certainly there are great athletes that golf, but you don't have to be a great athlete to be a great golfer. Nonetheless, one of the greatest competitive performances ever. Put it up there with Jordan's flu game in the NBA Finals. Kobe being at a trial in Denver, hopping on a plane, flying to the NBA Finals and playing his ass off. Brett Favre after his father died on Monday Night Football. How about Scottie Scheffler being arrested today for apparently driving around a cop car, doing his round warm-up routine in a jail cell, going back to Valhalla and shooting a 66. I mean, what a badass thing that was. Hat tip to Scottie Scheffler and a pox on the clowns who decided to arrest him. I shouldn't call them clowns. I love our men and women in blue. They're awesome. They have an impossible job to do, but what are we doing? Are we really arresting Scottie Scheffler for driving around a cop car into a golf club? You brought more attention and negativity to that situation that needed to happen. I was watching live on Get Up this morning, Jeff Darlington talking to Mike Greenberg through the scenario, and I was laughing out loud, and I didn't know what was more absurd. Jeff Darlington giving the play-by-play of Scottie Scheffler being arrested for driving around a car, or Scottie Scheffler being arrested for driving around a car. Anyway, as that unfolds, we'll talk about it here throughout the day. Glad you're aboard with us here on this Friday edition of AFR. So, LSU, let me start with the immediate, and we'll catch up. The immediacy here. Oh, real quick. I'm sorry, Muse. Let's begin as we do every single day. Hit the drop.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Okay, so LSU wins game 2 here against Ole Miss, 4-2. Tigers, like they did yesterday, got up big. Yesterday they were up 4-1, allowed a solo homer. Got a 5-0, allowed a solo homer. 5-1 would be your final. Game 2, LSU got up 4-0. Luke Hill, Baton Rouge product from Episcopal, hit a 2-run homer, and then 4-2 would be your final. Griffin Herring closed it out for LSU. What we continue to see from this LSU team, what we saw in Game 1, what we saw today in Game 2, not exclusively, but the ability to hit in clutch was significant. Tommy White had an opportunity, bases loaded, and just went out. He struck out. Jared Jones would strike out. Jones, a forgettable day. 4 strikeouts today for Jared Jones. Happens, and it was one of those days for him. But Tommy White got the homer start. The scoring started with a homer in the bottom of the first to put LSU on the board. Tigers would add another run in the second when Milazzo would single in Larson. Travinsky had an RBI ground out in the fifth to put LSU up 3-0, and then Pearson with an RBI single to score Tommy White in the fifth would put LSU up 4-0. As we mentioned, Luke Hill would homer top 6. It's bizarre how that happened. I mean, yesterday LSU's final run came, I think actually in the fourth, and then a half inning later is when Ole Miss homered to get on the board, and then same thing happened today. But the bullpen would make it hold up behind Luke Holman, who was really good for LSU today. As you'd imagine, you could just look at the final score and see that. Holman got you into the seventh, 6 2/3. He gave up the 2-run homer to Luke Hill. 9 strikeouts, no walks. That's the ticket for Luke Holman always, right? It's an outlier when he gets walk heavy and loses command, but today he was awesome. 9 strikeouts, no walks, 2 runs on 5 hits. Both of them earned, was the 2-run homer that he gave up. Christian Little came in and unfortunately, Christian Little came in, got a strikeout, but also walked a guy, started the 8th, and then Herring came in and finished the deal, pitching the 8th and the 9th for LSU. It was a solid outing for Herring after he gave you 10 pitches last night when Guidry wasn't able to finish it, and then today came out and needed just 23 pitches to get you through the 8th and the 9th. So, I mean, yeoman's work here for Griffin Herring to get saves in back-to-back games to put LSU on the brink of what we all think would be a regional berth. It would take 13 for LSU to punch their ticket to regional play. As we've said so many times ad nauseum, we've never seen a team go 12 and 18 in the league and punch their ticket to regional play. 12 and 17 has done it 3 times under the current format. So Tigers are 1 win away from that. Now you've won both games to start this series. The real question is, what do you look like tomorrow on the bump? And we'll talk plenty about that. Jay Johnson in his postgame shortly will no doubt address what they're going to be looking to do tomorrow. So we'll talk about that. And Ben McDonald will be here at 4:30, so bottom of hour 2 to take a look at that as well. We'll get Ben's opinion. But, 10 pitches a day ago, 23 pitches today for Herring. I don't think it's impossible to think you might use him a third consecutive day, but of course that outing would be shrunk. You didn't use Nate Ackenhausen today after he had a 20-pitch outing on Thursday, so Ackenhausen certainly I would assume would be available to start Game 3 sort of as an opener, what we've seen before. The question is, what would come after that? And there's a long list of options. You certainly have Sam Dutton available. Thatcher Hurd hasn't pitched now in a couple of weeks. You could go to him, and you could piece it together after that. However, you Fidelu Yoa conceivably could give you some length tomorrow as well if you needed it. You've got options out of that bullpen. You could go back to Gavin Guidry if you needed it. You've got options out of the bullpen if you need it to try to get you home, but you're going to have to hit the baseball. And luckily for LSU, not a phenomenal offensive day for the Tigers. They did put up 10 hits, but only scored 4 runs on those 10 hits. And maybe most importantly, they played clean defense behind Luke Holman with no errors. So you get a good whole staff approach tomorrow. You play clean defense behind whoever's on the bump, and you find a way to generate some offense. And the Tigers might just do the thing none of us thought they could do, which is sweep a weekend, which they've yet to do this year, even with options to do it and opportunities to do it. So LSU beats Ole Miss in Game 2 here, 4-2. They'll have a little bit of the good news here is after a really quick turnaround when you went, a rain-delayed Game 1 that didn't finish until, I don't know, after 8 o'clock, maybe 8, 9 o'clock last night. A quick turnaround back to a noon first pitch today. Now with the game finishing at 3, first pitch tomorrow, Saturday at 1 o'clock. You got a full 22 hours before first pitch tomorrow. So plenty of time to get off your feet, relax, get your pitching staff ready to go, a plan formulated, and get ready to try to go sweep this series, get to 13 conference wins, which would send LSU to Hoover with you feeling like you're playing with house money now. Now it's just if you can go win a game on Tuesday, you further solidify your lot in the NCAA tournament, and then you just see how deep of a run you can make in Hoover. But Tigers win 4-2. A nice job by LSU to bear down and get these 2 wins here to start this series, put themselves in good position for Game 3. Okay, our show open is brought to you by Bud Light. Hey, remember, Saturday, June 1, mark the calendar. Saturday, June 1, UFC 302. Of course, Bud Light, the official beer of the UFC, and Lafayette native Dustin the Diamond Poirier is now a national spokesperson and endorser of Bud Light, so we're fired up for this. Poirier against Makhachev, UFC 302. It's the headliner. We will be watching the fights at the Sportsbook at LaBerge in Baton Rouge, so we invite everybody to come join us. They'll have the fights on, totally free to get in. Come on out, have some booze, maybe eat some food, gamble a little bit, make some bets at the Sportsbook there at LaBerge. Watch the fights with us. But the great news is starting Monday, we're going to start taking entries for our contest. We'll have 8 winners. Each of the 8 winners will invite 2 guests. Those 24 people, our 8 winners and their plus 2, will get a food buffet for the entire night, free Bud Light the entire night, and bar top table seating right in front of the big screen for UFC 302. We'll start the entries for that coming up on Monday. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the UFC, the official beer of Dustin the Diamond Poirier, and the official beer of AFR. Let me knock out a quick break. Verge, Ausberry. Is LSU really going to play a football game in Ireland? All right, we'll find out next. Verge will be here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about Action Industries. Awesome Louisiana company that's been around since 1982, 42 years. If you're looking for a commercial contractor to do work in the petrochemical and refinery markets, you got to go check out our friends at Action Industries if you don't know them already. The thing about Action Industries that absolutely sets them apart is the fact that, look, there's some gigantic contractors that can do jobs and have 1,000 workers. And even if on those mega projects, if you need to supplement your work staff, Action can help. But the problem is sometimes when you have these massive jobs, you're not the priority. At Action Industries, you hire them to do a 100-person job, you are their top priority. You're getting the best construction manager they have, project manager they have, all their best people and all of their attention. It's Action Industries. You want that better experience and a safety record that is exemplary? You want Action Industries. Check them out online, Action Industries.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Yeah! Now, Muse, shout out Elizabeth Pendarvis, who reminded me about Bewitched. Yep. That is this Irish girl band from the 90s, which sang this song, C'est La Vie. Crank that up, Muse. I love this. Check it out. I got to brush up on my Irish music if we're going to Ireland. Yeah.
It's a good song. I remember this. This is a good one, man. My sister liked this song.
Oh, I love it so much. Does this mean I have to buy a kilt?
No, that's Scotland.
Bagpipes?
Also Scotland.
Oh, so I got the wrong country altogether.
Altogether.
Okay, apparently LSU is going to go play a football game in Ireland. I'm pretty fired up about that. Hey, Gordy, we're putting it on your Amex. All right, Verge Ausberry is with us. Of course, handles the LSU football scheduling. Scott Rabelais had this report that LSU apparently is working on a game in Ireland. Verge, thank you for the time, and thank you for indulging my lunacy. How are you?
Matt, great day. But, Matt, if you put it on Guardian's credit card, good luck with that, though, okay?
Now, hey, look, you don't think I'm paying for this trip, do you? I mean, this is 100, that's why. Listen, hey, Verge, I'm still salty that like a decade ago, we got this amazing opportunity to go do broadcasts, this world broadcast at the Jameson Distillery, and they sent Ott, Hannegriff, and Panamsky instead of me. Like, I'm still pissed about that. You better believe, brother, if we are going to play in Ireland, I am there. Like, I mean, I'm week-long shows, everything, all in. Okay,
a lot of good beer there. I went to the game this year, in fact.
That's right. Notre Dame played, correct?
Yeah. That's right. Played Navy, and I was able to go there and visit Ireland.
If I think it's worth noting, Verge's son plays on the Notre Dame team. Obviously, that's why in that Week 0 game they were playing over in Ireland. Was that the genesis of all this, Verge?
No, we had been talking for a while. Going back, Matt, to how this all started. You remember we lost Oklahoma, the Oklahoma game, and they joined the SEC. Right. We had to find some games on there. And, we did something in 2027. In 2028, we still have an opening there. And Coach Kelly and I, we were all visiting and talking one time, and they really reached out to us and wanted to talk about some details and doing the game and playing the game. And we listened to them. Matt, it's still very, very early in this process. I mean, we nowhere pen to paper or close to opponents and things of that nature. It has to make a lot of financial sense to us. And they understand that, what type of game it has to be, who the opponent has to be. Maybe somebody is in the SEC who wants to play one of the games over there. Usually conference schools, they decide to play a game over there, not one of our home games, maybe another team in the conference on the lower division. And we can play the game over there. It makes financial sense to us. But we can't just give up a home game and give away $4 to $5 million just to play in Ireland. But it'll be something smart if we do it, and it'll be something beneficial to all the programs, especially us.
Okay, so a lot of interesting things there. First of all, I would assume this would have to be a Week 0 game, correct?
Yes, correct. It would be a Week 0 game for us.
So you'd play in Ireland, again, hypothetical. I'm not saying it's done. Mm-hmm. But so you'd play I'm just working through the hypothetical. You play in Ireland Week 0, then Week 1 you'd come back and play like an FCS opponent or something like that because of the travel. You'd want a lesser test in Week 1?
You would. And depending on that year, to have 2 open weeks or 1 open week also. That'll play in that too, how we set the schedule. And you probably would want to play a game then and have the open week later in the year for SEC opponents and tougher games that you're going to play in that year. But, yeah, it'll be a Week 0 game. You could play Week 0 games overseas, and that'll be beneficial and get that game in that way.
How it was interesting that you said it potentially could be an SEC opponent. Mm-hmm. How would we know what the future opponent schedule would be?
And that'll be working closely with the SEC on that, and the team you're playing and who you're playing, and they would have to want to do it too. And that's why I said there's a lot of moving parts to this thing to make this thing work. You could play a non-conference opponent, but we have to be very careful right now, Matt. Also, let's say if we go to 9 games, I'm just hypothetically, it's not definite that we're going to play 9 SEC games, but if we play 9 games, we have to make sure that we have the right mix of 5-4. We definitely have to have 5 games in Baton Rouge because, for us to make budget LSU, we have to have 7 home games, and that's required. So I can't have an off year where some years if we go to 9 games, we're falling down and we're only playing 6 home games because we're scheduling the game out of conference. And that's the risk we're taking right now anyway, and that's why we've kind of frozen on scheduling to figure out, we're doing year by year right now. It's 8 games and 8 games, and, it might jump to 9 games. And that hadn't been decided yet, but we have to protect ourselves a little bit if that was to happen.
Verge Ausberry is our guest, talking about the possibility of LSU playing a football game in Ireland. Can you elaborate a little bit on, you said we'd have to be able to make budget. Like you can't give up a home game. So can you just elaborate a little bit on what all goes into making those decisions when you're scheduling, like how many home, how many road, whether you play a neutral site, something along those lines?
We always have to keep 7 home games. That's where our ticket base is built, and our ticket price is built on the 7 home games in Tiger Stadium. We never really want to drop under that. So, it's even this year, we're playing USC. It's a neutral site game. You still have 7 home games to play, and that's where we need to be. When I'm talking to, Matt Laborde, our CFO, to make budget and make our operations budget and make the department's budget, that's where we have to be with 7 home football games. And the things that we offer to our corporate sponsors and other people, we definitely try to keep it at 7. We never try to drop to that 6. And that's been years and years. We've never played 6 home games. We've always played 7 home games. So that's the number we could afford. Sometimes we have 8 home games. And that's where we can do the neutral site game or a game similar to what we're talking about in Ireland and those type of games. When you have 8 home games is very, very hard for our people, our maintenance people, our people who keep the field up and those type of things. So that's why we try to keep it at that 7 home games in Tiger Stadium.
we're obviously seeing LSU go play a neutral site game this year out in Las Vegas. Is the I would imagine it's so hard to try to prepare a future schedule, not knowing how many league games you're going to play. But is the impetus to begin continue playing home non-conference games, or should we anticipate still seeing neutral site non-conference games?
Well, this year we're playing Clemson in a home and home.
Right.
So we have home and homes. We have home and homes with Utah. I have a neutral site with Houston. We're playing them a one-off in Houston. That's filling Oklahoma home and home that we lost when they joined the conference. So, Matt, it depends on your team and how you feel about your team, what type of team you have coming into the season. And also you have to be careful. Like I said, right now, we're undecisive about who's going to play 8 or 9 games. We're just being very, very careful how far we schedule out there. And, we put in a lot of the mid-majors and the bye games, the FCS games that, if we go to 9 games, we'll be able to drop you out any penalty. But that's the thing that happens. Let's say you have 4 games out there and they schedule 9 games, then you have to buy teams out for those prices. And that's what we don't want to do. And that's why we pretty much slowed the scheduling process down, and we're taking it year by year. And that's what the SEC is giving us right now, the schedule, year by year. So it's very difficult for all of us in the football scheduling business to go out there and start scheduling 4 non-conference games. You don't know if you're going to have 8 or 9 SEC games.
So how, my next question is, how far out can you schedule now, not knowing how many games you're going to have to schedule?
Well, this is what I've done. I've scheduled 3 games, non-conference games. That's all I'm working on right now. Some years I have like 1 or 2 on there. I could add 1 more. I'm not doing 4. So we're scheduling out. We'll be very careful. You're right. The thing that we're really, really watching is the home and home. You're flipping it the right week. But it's bottom line, like you said, I could play a home and home, but it'd be the wrong year, and we'll fall on that 7-game threshold. Mm-hmm. So those are the things we have to be very, very careful. We're just trying to feel it out. Scott's in the meetings, and we're talking to Scott a lot and talking about him about the scheduling, telling him, like, where are we? And what are you hearing? All the meetings we go into, what are you hearing? When the schedule going to be completed? Those type of things. So we keep having those conversations. But as you know, there's a lot of uncertainty right now with scheduling and conference realignment and those type of things. So we're just sitting back and trying to hold off as long as we can. We have games scheduled out there right now, and we're just in a holding pattern. And I think really, Matt, in the future years, you'll see a lot of changes coming in our business. That some good, some for the bad. But I think we just have to be careful how far we go out, not to put ourselves in a bad position.
Yeah. There's a million things I could ask about this, but just a couple more if I can. How far out? First of all, who runs the event, the game, whatever it would be, in Ireland? Like, who do you schedule through?
Well, Anthony Travels, the coach talked about, that organization, and they run the game. They run the process.
Okay.
And, I've had great conversations with them. We've talked. And, we stayed close here for a while talking about this in the process, find the right team, the right opponent, and the right scheduling opportunity. That's what I tell them. So we've been having transparent conversations about things, the payment, how much we would want to make if we come out there. Those numbers and, hotel rooms, things of that nature, where you stay at. So we had great dialogue on this subject, but we just hadn't got to the point where we said, okay, let's pull the trigger on it. So it's something interesting, and I think it'd be interesting to our fan base. It was a great environment. I went out there to that game, and it was a great place to play at. Fans, a great place for fans, and it'd be a great opportunity. And like I said, we always try to do something new at LSU. Especially for our brand, where we are, and the type of program we are. So you might see more and more of these things coming in the future in different programs.
How? That's interesting. We see basketball play overseas. What other program?
Next year, Florida State playing Georgia Tech, I think, over there.
Right.
Florida State, Georgia Tech. I think they're playing next year over there. So every year there'll be a game in Ireland, no matter who it is. There'll be 2 schools playing over there.
Okay. How far out would that Ireland group be able to schedule a game?
I think they have some openings there to do some things. I think LSU brings a lot of interest to them. They get a opponent like LSU on the right year. I think they'll make it work. That's what I've been told.
Okay.
They really want a program like ours there. So Brian Kelly helps too. He has a lot of connections with that group, and he's done that at Notre Dame. So it really helps to have the conversations. And I've been talking to Brian and talking to my friends who run the game, and just building relationships, and we meet every time we get a chance. If we had a conference or something, and just talk about it, how we see this thing working out.
Could you get me a field pass for the game itself?
I'll get you one, Matt. I'll probably get you one. I'll put Gordy on top and keep you down low.
Oh man, forget Gordy Rush, man. He'll be down there anywhere doing a sideline for the radio network. I just want to make sure if they make him stand in the end zone, I just want to be like, I want to be on the sideline. I mean, I'll run BK's wires or whatever I got to do. That's all.
I give Gordy a hard time. He's an old teammate of mine. So I give him a hard time.
Well, he deserves a hard time, Verge. Go look at his Twitter today about this stuff. He's ribbing it to me about Panamsky, Ott, and Hannegriff going to Ireland back in 2011 or 12, whatever that was. So any opportunity we have to poke him in the eye with a sharpened popsicle stick, I'm for it. Okay, this is exciting news, man. I think LSU fans are going to be pretty pumped if this opportunity comes. I mean, every time there's been sort of this novelty travel experience, it was Rose Bowl, it was Lambeau. The LSU fans go en masse. I think it would be the same thing for Ireland. It's got a lot of people excited. He's Verge Ausberry. All right, Verge, we appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt. Have a good weekend.
You do the very same. That's Verge Ausberry. This is After Further Review. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. Y'all, I had lunch today with Tim and Ben over at First South. A great meeting, man. Love chatting with those guys. I love learning more about their business, a business that, since 1916, for more than 100 years, they have helped Louisianians buy land. And one of the biggest differentiators with First South Farm Credit is the patronage refund. And if you haven't seen it yet, you can go read about this at their website. It's firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you go to the website and you hit the little, the drop-down bar, what you'll see is under About, they have news and highlights, and you'll see where they talk about their patronage refund. And this year, in their patronage refund, they distributed nearly $26 million to their member borrowers. It's unbelievable. That's the patronage refund. So just for doing business with First South Farm Credit, you're going to get a check. And this year, they distributed $25.5 million back to their member borrowers. So, let's say your interest rate is 5%. Because of the patronage refund, it's actually more like 4%. It's another reason to do business with First South Farm Credit. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. And if you want to read more about their patronage refund, again, go to their website, firstsouthland.com. In the About section, you'll see news and highlights, and you'll see it right there, firstsouthland.com. All right. It's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We'll go around the SEC. If you're maybe just knocking off work, jumping in the car, maybe you're leaving the box. LSU beats Ole Miss in Game 2, 4-2. So LSU has taken the series 5-1 on Thursday, 4-2 here on Friday. They'll look for the sweep on Saturday with a 1 o'clock first pitch. We'll talk plenty about that. 1 hour from right now, Ben McDonald will be with us. Big Ben was on the call with Lynn there on the SEC Network. So we'll get Ben's thoughts on the first two games and look ahead to Game 3 with LSU and Ole Miss as the Tigers go for the sweep. Okay, quick break. We'll go around the SEC next. Stay here.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about River City's 1 Hour Air, because if you're having trouble with your AC or if you've just neglected your AC, these are the people that will help you. You see the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. You see them all over town, because so many of your friends and neighbors do what I do. They trust River City's 1 Hour Air. I love this testimonial. Last Saturday, I got a text on my show text line. It said, Matt, we'd been without AC for 3 days. We finally called River City's 1 Hour Air. It was a Saturday. Called them at 4. We were up and running by 5 o'clock. They had someone at the house and had it fixed in an hour. Should have called them first. Learn your lesson. They won't make that mistake again. River City's 1 Hour Air, they're just the best. The best trained technicians, the best service, fair pricing. Look them up online at onehourbr.com, onehourbr.com, or call 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
The best.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Live After 5 is back this spring. Clock out and rock out with us Fridays from April 12th through May 24th in downtown Baton Rouge for the free concert series, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Join us for another season filled with incredible music, delicious food, talented artists, and a lively second line parade. This Friday, come out to see the Bucktown All-Stars for Live After 5.
Well, the Indiana Fever got blown out again last night, and with those words coming out of my mouth, that is the most WNBA talk we've ever had on this show. Fair?
Definitely fair. I mean, Otter's been shoehorning it in for us there the last few days.
I think the line last night was 8.5 against Liberty. Otter's fading Caitlin Clark. All the public are high on her. They stink. And what did she have? 2 points?
She had 2 points at halftime.
Yeah, 2 points at halftime.
And I think they lost by like 40, right?
Here's the I don't know. All I know is the 8.5 cashed. Here's the 2 parts of this. Number one, apparently like all the veterans there in the WNBA, whatever, are like trying to stick it to Caitlin Clark. What?
It's just whatever. I mean,
like, let's be real.
No,
the average salary is less than $100,000. The WNBA is a joke of a professional league. This isn't a sexist thing. It's reality. It's been in existence since 1997. It has a negligible TV deal. They play in small arenas that nobody attends. It's not a big deal. We can pretend it is, but I'm going to be honest with you. It's not. The WNBA is not a big deal. I'm a sports talk radio host. I could not name to you every WNBA team. Similarly, I could not name every NHL team because the NHL is massively regionalized and they're, again, a negligible TV deal. It has some great history, and certainly in certain markets, it's a big deal. Other than the Stanley Cup playoffs, when people tend to watch playoff hockey in May and June, the NHL is irrelevant. It is. In the national scope, it is. Fair?
Yes.
It's not a sexist thing. It's a what sport matters thing. What's fascinating about the Caitlin Clark thing to me is all these WNBA veterans are like trying to stick it to her when she is bringing eyeballs to your sport, which is going to make all of you more money that you can't do because nobody cares about your sport in your league until she came in. Here's the bigger thing, though. The point we made when Caitlin Clark made the decision to go pro. She played in a national championship game that had 18 million viewers. She played in her WNBA opener that had north of 2 million viewers, and that was the most watched WNBA game since 2001. 23 years since a WNBA game had that many viewers in it. And that was, 1/9 of the audience of the championship game? Caitlin Clark was probably more valuable at Iowa because you had better TV deals for women's college basketball. You had a more rabid fan base because people have an emotional connection with UConn or LSU, Iowa. They love their school. They want their school to win. That's the point I'm making. All these WNBA players that are trying to stick it to Caitlin Clark, like, you should be letting her score 50 a night. Like, I'm not even being facetious. They should, like, that would be a storyline. Let her go off and score 30, 40 a night, and more people would want to see the show. But if your foolish pride's going to get involved, fine. Keep playing in front of 2,000, 3,000 people on networks that nobody's going to watch and games nobody's going to watch, nobody cares about. Do you? Either way. Because the rest of the sporting world is fine without the WNBA being relevant like the last quarter century. Caitlin Clark's interesting. Nothing in the WNBA was interesting before her. Okay, let's see if she can make it interesting. But the people in the WNBA, they're cutting off their nose to spite their face. Whatever. I mean, I'm perfectly fine if Caitlin Clark wants to go score two points in the first half and we all forget that she plays for the Indiana Fever and nobody watches again. Okay. There's plenty on my sports buffet. I got plenty on that buffet to fill up my plate. And I only got so much room on this plate. And I made a little room by the yams. Like I pushed I put the bread in the center and pushed the yams so they like squished with the stuffed Merlaton now. So I had a little bit of room for WNBA when Caitlin Clark was playing. But if you're going to tell me she's not interesting anymore, and I really, okay, cool. I'll throw another piece of bread on there or something.
Do people actually eat yams outside of Thanksgiving?
Oh, I had yams on Tuesday.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. Yams are good. I like yams.
They're great. Candied yams are awesome.
Fantastic.
Let's go around the SEC. Hit it, Muse.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Arkansas Razorbacks.
All right, Jonas Adu has withdrawn from the NBA draft, and he will join John Calipari at Arkansas. John Rothstein with the first report there. Adu played the last 3 seasons at Tennessee, 90 games for the Vols, averaged 5 rebounds a game, 7 points, 5 boards, 1.5 blocks per game. He'll finish up his career there at Arkansas.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Former Rhode Island center Jeremy Fumina has committed to Mississippi State. Hey, we're in Rhode Island. No, that was Delaware from Wayne's World. It was Coffee Talk. Rhode Island's neither a road nor an island. Old Saturday Night Live people would get it. Don't worry about it. Muse. As a freshman last year, the 7-foot big averaged 5 points, 3 rebounds for the Rams. Picked the Bulldogs over UCF and Georgetown.
The Florida Gators.
And Florida transfer guard Riley Kugel has committed to Mississippi State. John Rothstein with the report there. Originally committed to Kansas, reopened his recruitment, spent 2 seasons with the Gators, 65 appearances, 28 starts. He's headed to Stark Vegas. Okay, there you have it. That is around the SEC. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. 18 locations across South Louisiana. Of course, you can find the location near you at ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Name brand tires, wholesale prices, and of course, we tell you every day they treat you like family over at Shawbills. Go to the website, look up the Charlie's Dozen. Like we always say, the Charlie's Dozen are a dozen benefits extended to you and every vehicle in your family when you buy tires at Shaw Bills. It's just part of the reason that you do business with Shaw Bills, because they believe that you're entitled to a certain customer service experience. They believe that free tire repairs are just the right thing to do. Free balancing, free tire rotations for the life of the tires when you buy them at Shaw Bills. Go to ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, or find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. Should I even check the text line? Are people going to be angry with me about the Caitlin Clark WNBA take? I don't know.
I don't think people are going to be angry with you on that.
Maybe not in this audience.
Yeah, I mean the reason I thought it was funny the way you just kind of said it, and you're like, whatever, because that is what I mean. Who cares? I saw the Dream are moving their games against the Fever to where the Hawks play because the Dream playing
Caitlin Clark.
Well, no, they play in a 3,500 seat arena.
They play in a small arena.
Yeah.
They're moving to the NBA arena when Caitlin Clark comes so they can sell more tickets. Of course, because she is an attraction. She is the WNBA's meal ticket. That's why it's laughable to me that these veteran players are trying to stick it to her when she's the one bringing attention to their league and making them all more money.
It's like
she's selling tickets. She's selling merch. She's the reason you have TV deals and ESPN and primetime. Like, she is the reason, singular. Like, prop her up. Don't try to tear her down and tearing her down. Like, that's the irony. You're tearing down the thing that is building your league. You're hurting yourself. What were you going to say?
I was going to say it has the potential to kind of be similar to what Tiger Woods did for the PGA Tour. Whenever he went on a stretch, the purses grew, the ratings grew, everything grew.
I think a lot of leagues had that, though.
Yeah.
But nobody was tearing down Tiger Woods. That's the difference.
But that's what I was saying.
They were promoting their superstar, which, what a novel idea. Promote your superstar. Chris Burke texted the show and said, my wife loves yams, but they give her gas.
Berkey?
You hate to hear that. I don't think it's that Chris
Different
Burke.
Chris Burke?
It might
Okay.
be that Chris
It
Burke,
could be.
but probably not former Tennessee Vol and big leaguer Chris Burke. Might be, probably not. I'll text him in the break and find out. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You know where to find them. Call the 888-8888, 888-8888. Offices all over the state of Louisiana. So no matter where in the entire footprint of the boot you're listening to me right now, there's a Gordon McKernan Injury Attorney office near you. All you got to do is call 888-8888 to get Gordon and get it done. Of course, if you'd prefer, you can always go online to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. Say it every day. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Don't go it alone. You can trust Gordon. Gordon and his team over the last 30 years have helped more than 10,000 Louisianians recover more than $2 billion in damages. Did you hear what I just said? You could be next. You can trust a great local attorney that's helped people in our state for 3 decades. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Wrapping up hour number 1, Paul Skenes had a good day.
He's got another strikeout that gives him 10. His first double-digit strikeout game of his career.
The final line for Paul Skenes at Wrigley today in Chicago. 6 innings pitched, no hits, a walk, and 11 strikeouts. Needless to say, a much better matinee appearance here in his second start than his debut. Although Paul Skenes' debut, and I watched every pitch of his debut, he was quite good. But today, he was dominant. He went over 100 pitches, so that's why they pulled him after 6, despite throwing a no-hitter through 6 innings, which I imagine, like, I had a, well, I'll tell you who it was. It was Russ. I had Russ Mitchell. He texted me earlier this week, and he sent me a graphic, and it was something I believe in the New York Times that showed the amount of pitchers that pitched beyond 6 innings, and it was throughout the history of baseball, and the chart just had this dramatic fall off a cliff line down in the last, several years. And I think a lot of us who watch baseball understand and know that it's injuries are a big part of it. Specialization, like specialized roles for pitchers, are a big part of it. Kids starting younger, committing only to baseball, not giving their arms time to rest, throwing breaking balls earlier. I mean, it's an ongoing conversation that tons of people have had. It's not a new conversation, but it was one of those instances where Skenes got over 100 pitches, and so they pulled him. They weren't going to let him finish the game, despite the fact that he was still throwing 100, hadn't allowed a hit, struck out 11, had only walked 1. But it's what it is. But for Paul Skenes, what a heck of a memory, man. His second career start to go out there at a place like Wrigley Field. And if you look at it, man, there's actually Cubs fans that are cheering Paul Skenes late in that ball game, late in his outing, because, you realize what you're watching. You're watching a generational talent in his second ever start who is just making big leaguers look silly. And there's some real perspective in this outing when, people look at this current LSU team kind of to bring it full circle, and you wonder why, there have been struggles. I think it's because, rightly or wrongly, intentionally or unintentionally, you're consciously or subconsciously comparing what you see now to what you saw with Paul Skenes last year. And no matter how many times I said it or other people said it, it was never going to look like that again. It took you 35 years from Ben McDonald to Paul Skenes to find a talent like that. And Skenes' season last year was better. He broke Ben McDonald's strikeout record. So, I mean, my goodness, that's a big part of why it looks different this year, because nothing looks like that. You had a guy pitching for you last year who just made big leaguers look silly. Threw 6 no-hit innings, struck out 11, walked 1 in his second career start. Yeah, Vandy was going to have trouble with that. So anyway, congrats to Paul Skenes. Next, and we hope will all be a long line of awesome starts for him. Okay, we're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. I want to remind you, a lot of you getting your tax refund. Maybe what are you going to do with that money? Invest it back into your home. Remember, Relief Windows, I keep telling you about this. They got this beautiful 3D model program whereby they can show you in their office a 3D model of your home with the exact windows, the siding, the finishes, the color. So you don't have to guess what it would look like from a flip book or a panel. You can look at a 3D rendering of what your home would look like with those finishes. It's Relief Windows. They're just the best. Give them a shout, 288-8138, 288-8138, or reliefwindows.com. Windows, door, siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. Okay, we're going to knock out our final break here. Sports Center's coming up after the top of the hour. When we come back, 5-star wide receiver Dakorian Moore has decommitted from LSU. I'll give you some thoughts coming up after Sports Center.
AFR.
Had a great meeting today with my friends over at Pure Restoration, and the bottom line is, when I talk about it, and it was funny actually, I'm hand to Bible, hand over heart, not this is true. I was sitting in the meeting with those guys this morning, and I got a text during that meeting, and it was, Matt, what's the mold company that you always talk about? It was from Tim G. I won't tell you his last name. And no matter how many times I tell you Pure Restoration, pure-restoration.com, a lot of you just remember the mold company. That's fine. But I sent Tim the link, and on this call, the guys reminded me, obviously, no matter where you look, they just got done doing a massive job. This week, 3 jobs in New Orleans. So if you're listening in the New Orleans area, greater New Orleans, North Shore, everything, they can help you. They've done jobs as big as 200,000 square feet arenas all the way down to a single-family home. It's Pure Restoration.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. After a fatal accident outside the entrance to Valhalla Golf Club this morning caused traffic issues, Scotty Scheffler was arrested for trying to drive around the scene, injuring a police detective in the process. Scheffler faces multiple charges, including felony second-degree assault. ESPN's Jeff Darlington happened to witness the incident involving Scheffler.
Many of the police officers were, dare I say, on edge. They were simply, you could tell that it was a stressful morning. You could feel that in the air based on traffic flow at a big golf event like this.
Jeff Darlington. Scheffler is 9 under after a 66 today, 2 shots behind the leaders, Colin Morikawa and Xander Schauffele. Coverage continues on ESPN and ESPN+. Knicks and Pacers for Game 6 tonight in Indy, New York, with a 3-2 series lead. Coverage at 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio and TV. The Bruins host the Panthers. The Avalanche host the Stars tonight. Game 6 in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Florida and Dallas with the 3-2 series leads.
As humans, we like having options. One option you might like is speaking with a real person when you call about your credit card. With 24/7 live, U.S.-based customer service from Discover, everyone can talk to a real person anytime, day or night. Limitations apply. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. We are presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. No Terrio today. I found out this morning. I'm sorry. I know it was on the tees all day long. Talked about it yesterday, but I will completely put that at Terrio's feet. Houston Terrio is graduating, so he had an event, which is totally fine, but they didn't schedule that today. They scheduled that probably a year ago. So I'm making him wear that right now, where he's not here and it's his fault. Anyway, let's see. We got a ton to do. A Ben McDonald bottom of this hour. If you missed it, maybe you're leaving the box right now or getting off of work. LSU beats Ole Miss 4-2. Tigers got up 4-0. Luke Holman was awesome today. Gave you 6 2/3 of 2-run ball. The only 2 runs were a 2-run homer by Luke Hill, and the bullpen made it stand up with Christian Little, and obviously and Griffin Herring brought it home for the Tigers. So LSU, they win the series against Ole Miss. 1 game to go. Obviously, they'll take on Ole Miss tomorrow, 1 o'clock. And if they sweep, they get to 13 wins. And I know there's some disagreement about this, but we've had this conversation now for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. But I'll hat tip Kendall Rogers on this. A month ago, Kendall was here and told us point blank that if LSU got to 13, they'd be in. And, LSU's RPI coming in today was 33. So we'll see what happens after this day of baseball is done. But the bottom line is LSU's RPI is going to be plenty good enough. Their top 50 RPI wins is going to be, their quad 1 RPI wins are going to be plenty enough. It's just a matter of, is your conference record going to be there? So, if you're an LSU fan, you're pulling against Florida this weekend. You certainly need LSU to sweep. If those things fall into place, then LSU should be in pretty good shape heading to Hoover next week. But you got to win tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We'll talk about that with Ben McDonald here in about 25 minutes from right now. All right. Not entirely unexpected, but still disappointing nonetheless. 5-star wide receiver for the class of 2025, the number one receiver in the country for 2025, Decorian Moore, decommitted from LSU on Thursday evening. In a social media post, he mentioned he wanted to express his gratitude to Coach Kelly and the LSU community for the support. Announced that he's decommitting from LSU. He said, though, despite the decision, he is not considering any recruitment offers. Says, I'll always hold love for the entire LSU family. The culture there is truly unmatched. Thank you for all your unwavering love and support. So, Decorian Moore, of course, out of Duncanville in Texas. And his teammate Caden Durham is signed with LSU for this year, for the class of 2024. He'll be on campus coming up in the fall. And, Moore is a guy that committed to LSU back in August amid much fanfare. Probably surprised a lot of people when he committed. And quite honestly, a lot of people sort of always felt that Decorian Moore was probably more of a Texas lean. As a matter of fact, when Shea Dixon was here last week, so about 10 days ago, we asked him point blank, if there were any decommitment sort of rumors or threats out there. And, he mentioned Moore by name.
I think the one that everyone jumps to is going to be Decorian Moore, and really would be the only one that I would circle. Now, Decorian has said he's locked in, but at the same time, he's visited Ohio State a couple of times. He's dropped by Texas. That was always considered the real big threat. I've said it on this show before. I go back to the start. LSU pulled off the shocker here. Like, everyone thought he was going to Texas. His whole family, pre-committing to LSU, would be spotted in Texas gear, and they said it was a lock, and it was out of, left field to Texas folks. If there is one we're watching, it's him, but I think that's also, if you're going to sweat over it, you're just a victim of circumstance. That's what happens when you get a kid popped who was not ever expected to go to your school from an out-of-state school when, Texas and others in that area want him very badly because he is head and shoulders the best receiver in this class.
Decorian Moore is 5'11", 175-pounder. He is a burner. He's a special player in this class. I don't think there's any denying that. So, there's a few ways that when I was kind of thinking about what I wanted to say on this topic and working through my thoughts, a couple of different things popped. And I think maybe the most important thing to note is, I don't want to downplay this. I don't want to act like, oh, that's no big deal. You're talking about a guy that is a 5-star, that, as you heard Shea Dixon say there, who's as good as anybody in this business that covers recruiting. He is head and shoulders the best receiver in college football, in this recruiting class. When you lose that guy out of your class, it's a big deal. On3 updated their recruiting rankings here recently. There were only 10 5-stars in the country, and Decorian Moore is one of them. Now, the good news for LSU is Bryce Underwood, who's the number one player in the country, is one of them as well, and he's also committed to LSU. So, the flex of saying you had the number one quarterback, receiver, and running back in the country for 2025 is no longer something that you can tout. And I'm not going to downplay it. I'm not going to downplay this decommitment. You want a great player. You want a game changer. You want a difference maker on the offense. And LSU has produced 2 Heisman winners now since 2019. You just had the number one offense in college football this past year. And you have something to sell now to the best offensive prospects in the country. So, yes, losing Decorian Moore's commitment is a big deal. I'm not going to undersell that. The way that I look at it, though, is this. Can you still make it up offensively? Can you function offensively without Decorian Moore's commitment? And I kind of think of it in terms of, what if you had never gotten this commitment? You are never, as a program, going to get every player you recruit. It's just not possible. So the question really is, can you build a roster of 85 scholarship players where you have enough talent and depth at every position that you're going to be able to compete with the best teams in the country? And the answer for LSU, especially at this position, is unequivocally yes. Because we have seen great players, even great players from Louisiana, leave. I mean, at all positions, right? But I can very clearly point to the name that we're all going to think, and that's Devontae Smith from a meet who went to Alabama and won a Heisman Trophy as a wide receiver. That kid was 45 minutes from your campus, and he went to your biggest rival. That sucks. But even still, LSU offensively didn't miss a beat because you've been able to recruit at that position and churn talent through this program, especially at that position. I mean, we could look at Neighbors and Brian Thomas here most recently, 2 first-round picks. You can go back and look at Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. How about Terrace Marshall, a 5-star from Louisiana, sandwiched in between? You can go back to Odell and Jarvis. You want to keep going? Josh Reed, Michael Clayton, Devery Henderson, Dwayne Bowe, Buster Davis, Early Doucette, Ruben Randall, Terrence Tolliver. Y'all, the list is long and distinguished at that position, in large part because this state pumps out skilled talent. You are never lacking for running backs and receivers and defensive backs. That's what this state produces. This state doesn't always produce great offensive linemen and quarterbacks. If they ever get to the point where they do, look out. But I think while it totally sucks that you've lost Dakorian Moore out of this class, and judging by his comment, it certainly doesn't look like he's looking back. I have no idea how big of a factor NIL is in all this, which is a very plausible question. I'm not even concerned about it. The question is, how does LSU continue to move forward? And when I look at the 25 class where Dakorian Moore is a member, LSU in the class of 25 right now has 1 wide receiver committed. And it's Teron Francis. So, that is a spot for the class of 25 now, especially with Dakorian Moore out of this class, where you are going to have to address as you move throughout the rest of this recruiting cycle for the class of 2025. Teron Francis is a 4-star. He is a highly sought-after guy. He's out of Edna Carr in New Orleans, 6'1", 196, and he's got a lot of big-time offers. So that's a kid from Louisiana who's a high 4-star that you'd be pumped to have. But he's the only wide receiver in this class. In this most recent class in 24, you signed Kylan Billiot from Louisiana, Jelani Watkins, Michael Turner. You added Xavion Thomas and C.J. Daniels from the portal. So the portal will always be a part of this as well. And remember last year, in 23, you signed Shelton Sampson, Kyle Parker. You've now seen Kai Preon and Jalen Brown already gone. But Sampson, Parker, Billiot, Watkins, Turner, Teron Francis coming in. That's 6 before you even consider who might else join 25 and what other transfers you might bring in. I guess my point is, yes, this sucks. I would have been so excited to see what Jalen Brown could have become in this program. And, of course, you want a stud like Dakorian Moore at LSU. But you've got a generational talent at quarterback as part of this class that you need to get on campus, and there's going to be no shortage of weapons for him to get the ball to while he's here for as long as he's here. So not going to downplay this decommitment, but what I will say is it's not crippling. If you had lost Bryce Underwood, per se, the most important position in organized team sports and in a generational talent where you've invested so many resources in recruiting that guy, getting his commitment, and now you got to get him to campus. If you lose that commitment, that's crippling because now you're starting over and trying to recruit a quarterback. That can set you back in this class, back to the portal. It changes the way you address that position. Receiver, you can manage it. And as LSU continues to build the 2025 class, we'll talk about it. I think we're all expecting that Dakorian Moore is going to end up at Texas. And, of course, Texas now being in the SEC sucks doubly because now you're going to have to face him like you had to face Devontae Smith. Okay, if you got comments, feedback, feel free to get it in. Email us, tweet us, text us. Our Friday shows, as always, are brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar there in Town Center. Get on by, stock the stash over at Don Juan Cigar Bar. right there in Town Center. We appreciate them, as always, for being great supporters of the show. You can hang out at the retail shop or in the cigar bar over at Don Juan in Town Center. All right, we'll knock out a quick break. Ben McDonald here in 15 minutes. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, two amazing hotel properties in Baton Rouge. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. If you're thinking of hosting an event, tell you every day, either location is awesome. Wedding receptions downtown at the Watermark are exquisite. The Watermark is Baton Rouge's premier hotel property, and they can host your wedding reception downtown. Part of the autograph collection there with Marriott Bonvoy. It is so beautiful. If you've never seen it, just go check out their spaces. You want to have a wedding reception downtown Baton Rouge? That's the spot to do it. Man, remember, aside from the Watermark, you got the Renaissance Southtown right there on Bluebonnet. Gorgeous, towering hotel across from the Mall of Louisiana and Perkins Row with tons of meeting space. Quaint enough to host a dozen for a board meeting. Big enough to host 500 people in their grand ballroom and everything in between. The Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown. And while it's Friday night, great opportunity to get by and check out our friends over at Tallulah. Check them out tonight at the Renaissance Hotel.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Oh, man. Hey, so Bill Barnwell at ESPN.com listed some trade scenarios for Marshawn Lattimore. Did you see that, Muse?
What? Trade? No, I didn't see that. Trade scenarios for Marshawn Lattimore?
Yeah, well, listen, what players in the NFL would be really interesting to add some trades. I thought we could go through that maybe a little bit.
Do we have to?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that's something that would interest a lot of people. Maybe I could. Do you have a promo you can read before we get into that?
I do.
Yeah,
I do have a promo that I
I'll
can
get
read.
to the show text line here. Yeah,
that's fine. Look, hold on. I'm gonna pull the promo up.
Oh, by the way, Brennan Thibodeau said, "Matt, are you no longer on air on ESPN Lafayette?" Yes, Brennan, we absolutely are. But remember, our friends at ESPN 103.7 Lafayette, 104.1 Lake Charles, they're also a member of the LSU Sports Radio Network. They're an affiliate. So they were airing the baseball game today and then the post game. So I'm certain as soon as that ends, they'll is the post game over there with Jay?
Post game is over, yes.
Okay, so then we probably are back. We should be back on. If not, let's check with RP over there to make sure that we're on in Lafayette. If not, go ahead there, Muse.
Oh yeah, your promo.
Yeah.
Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the mic icon to send us your thoughts in audio form. Your message could be played on air during Off the Bench, the Hunt Palmer Show, and and after further review.
Words are
Speak
hard.
up. They are. Tell us your location and be heard. Find our app in the Apple Play or Google Play stores. For direct links, visit 1045ESPN.com. You could use that to send us thoughts on Marshawn Lattimore trade possibilities.
That would be great if you. What do you think about a Marshawn Lattimore trade? Do you have any thoughts there?
Not really. No. I mean, I don't think they're going to do it.
Okay. By the way, we were talking in the last segment about Decorian Moore decommitting from LSU. We got Ben McDonald in 9 minutes from right now. And I should have mentioned this, actually. So Keelan Moses, who's really been the bell cow, the leader of this class, he when we got the news of Decorian Moore's decommit, Keelan Moses reacted with a tweet, and he mentioned his U-High teammate. Said all he tweeted was, "All I really got to say," at Zay Martin _ tiger face emoji. So Zay Martin is a 3-star prospect in the class of 2025. He's a U-High prospect, certainly an LSU target, and that may be one of the directions LSU goes. But I find it highly unlikely, with only one receiver committed right now in Teron Francis, that the Tigers would only be looking at only one more receiver in this class. And by the way, thank you to Kelly, who just texted and said we are back on in Lafayette. So good news. Thanks so much. We appreciate that. Okay. It's after further review. Muse and I were joking there. So the joke, for those who are just joining us and weren't there, I know a few days ago we had on the rundown this piece up at ESPN.com where they ran through a handful of potential trade scenarios with some big-time players in the NFL. And they mentioned a potential trade scenario for Marshawn Lattimore. And I had it on the rundown. And in that segment, we got derailed and talked about something else.
Yeah, we yard sailed the entire thing.
I don't remember what we talked about.
I don't either.
Anyway, we ultimately said, okay, look, I'm going to bump this to later in the show. And we had a segment where I said, all right, we're going to put it into this slot. Well, when we got to that slot in the show, again, unintentionally, that segment got yard sailed. And so as we started this, and it's on the rundown to talk about this, that's why we were joking about Lattimore trade scenarios. I will get to that. I'll remind you about Parrish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. For 3.5 years, I have told you, do business with someone you know. Me and Terrio and Richard Tilley and Joe Morales and our whole crew. And all of our whole crew here have started a new company, Parrish Construction and Roofing. Had a great relationship for those 3 years. Ultimately, we decided mutually probably best if we, just long-term vision, start our own thing. So we separated, and our own thing is Parrish Construction and Roofing. You'll see the green logos everywhere. Oh, you better believe we're going to have a hat party coming up soon. Y'all, the last couple of days this week, Monday and certainly last night, the weather has been awful. So it's going to be terrible again tonight, and I've told you this for 3.5 years. There's only 2 ways to find out if you got roof damage. 1, call us and let us come give you a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. We can spot damage and repair it or replace your roof. Or you wait for it to rain and you get water in your house. And one of those options is better than the other. Every time it rains, our phones ring off the hook. By the way, did I mention phones? All the people are the same. Our phone number, exactly the same as well. 364-1007. Same number here in Baton Rouge. 225-364-1007. 364-1007. Commercial, residential, roof repairs, roof replacements, servicing all of South Louisiana. give us a shout. We'd love to help you with whatever's going on with your roof. We'd be thrilled to have the opportunity to earn your business. We've got insurance professionals on our staff that can help work through your claim, make sure it gets approved, and get you that new roof. It's Parrish Construction and Roofing. Go to parishbuilt.com. That's parishbuilt.com. So, Bill Barnwell has this piece up at ESPN.com where he mentions trade scenarios. Jamal Adams, Traylon Burks, Adoree Jackson, Hunter Renfrow, a lot of different ones. The one to this audience that would probably garner the most attention is his idea of the Jaguars trading for Saints cornerback Marshawn Lattimore. And I think the thing about this that would probably be most interesting to you is the compensation. They talk about how the Saints have restructured Lattimore's contract, and we've talked about that plenty here, how financially it doesn't make a lot of sense for New Orleans. Any deal that would move Lattimore would have to include some form of the team that's taking on Lattimore's deal, taking on the bulk of that contract, because it wouldn't make sense for the Saints to eat dead money for Marshawn Lattimore's deal to not have him on the roster. But really the question comes down to a couple of things. What could you get for Marshawn Lattimore? And is that more valuable than having him on your team in 2024 and then potentially cutting him in 25 or waiving him? It's worth mentioning the Saints could trade Marshawn Lattimore post-June 1, and his cap number goes down to $10 million this year. So it becomes a much more manageable contract structure if you trade him after June 1. So that is something that's feasible that would make some financial sense for New Orleans. Remember, if Lattimore's on the roster next year, it costs you $50 million. If he's not, that number jumps down to like 20. So you're talking about a more manageable way to figure out to work through this contract. But what was interesting that Bill Barnwell recommended, he looked at the deal that sent Jalen Ramsey to the Dolphins last year when the Rams sent Jalen Ramsey to Miami. And remember, Lattimore in the last 2 years has missed 17 games. He is, when he's healthy, he is a great corner, but he has been injury prone in his career. There's only one season, his second year, 2018, where he played a full season. Every other year, he has missed time at some point. In the last 2 years, he's combined to miss 17 games, effectively a full season. Jalen Ramsey has been healthy, has been available, is one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. He's certainly more accomplished. The Rams traded Jalen Ramsey to Miami for a third-round pick and a backup tight end. Bottom line is the best you could hope to do in a Lattimore trade is a 3. And what Barnwell proposed is a conditional 4, basically. It's a 5th-round pick that could convert to a 4 based on playing time. So if you're the New Orleans Saints, and by the way, I think Barnwell is on it. I think that's the best you could hope for is a day 3 pick for Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, look at what the Bears just got for Justin Fields, a guy who has starting quarterback experience in the NFL with a massive ceiling. In my opinion, the Saints would have to look at this and say, are we better off with one more year of Marshawn Lattimore to help us win now, or would we rather the draft asset next year, a day 3 draft asset next year, and to dump the salary? And my guess is, knowing how the New Orleans Saints operate, and Mickey Loomis having said, you're looking for the Godfather offer, right? The offer you can't refuse. A day 3 draft pick is not the Godfather offer. So if the Saints fancy themselves as a team that's still competing to win now, they want Marshawn Lattimore on their team in 2024 because he makes them better in 2024 unequivocally. They're a better defense with Marshawn Lattimore on the team. Look, last year, we know Paulson Adebo is really good on the boundary. Alontae Taylor really struggled in the slot last year. He's probably more of a boundary corner, might even be a safety eventually in this defense. We'll see. Similar to what Malcolm Jenkins was. You drafted Malcolm Jenkins in round 1 as a cornerback at Ohio State. You made him a safety, became a really good safety in his NFL career. You draft Kool-Aid McKinstry, maybe a Debo McKinstry or a Debo McKinstry, your boundary corners. Taylor moves to safety. You move Lattimore out. There are options and scenarios that make sense. But undeniably, the New Orleans Saints are a better team with Marshawn Lattimore in 2024. And against the schedule they're facing, which by opponent win-loss record from a year ago is tied with Atlanta for the weakest strength of schedule in the NFL, the Saints are going to try to win now, especially with the money they have tied in as well with Derek Carr and with Dennis Allen knowing he's probably coaching for his job. So I don't think the Saints, because they've given us no indication that they would be in sell mode, acquire draft assets to rebuild. They're trying to win now, and I think that's going to include Marshawn Lattimore. Okay, it's After Further Review. Friday show is brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Quick break. Ben McDonald joins us next on AFR.
AFR.
Glow Resources, they are complete employer solutions. If you're an employer and you have had one gigantic headache, which is hiring reliable people, especially I hear this a lot in certain blue-collar industries where business owners are tired of hiring people that are unreliable, that don't show up. They do slow work, unfortunately. I remember having one conversation. There was a business owner who felt the job, should have taken maybe a half an hour and took hours to do just a certain setup of a job. The reliability of employees who don't show up, their car breaks down, or whatever the case may be. Glow Resources specializes in finding employees that stick with a 93% retention rate. Cut through the clutter like Glow Resources help. GLO. GlowResources.com.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
He's here. Anyone want a Coors Light?
Oh shoot, I forgot to play the
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Yeah, he pitched like an ace. I think he's one of the best pitchers in the entire country. He's had a great season for us. And when you pitch like that as the starter and then out of the bullpen, you're going to give yourself a chance because it doesn't force you to be perfect offensively. So really proud of the pitching staff again for a second day in a row.
Jay Johnson talking about Luke Holman's day. The Tiger Ace went 6 2/3. Was awesome. All he gave up was the 2 runs on a 2-run homer by Baton Rouge product Luke Hill. Tigers win the first 2 games against Ole Miss. Ben McDonald has been on the call there for the SEC Network. Good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Ben, we always appreciate it, man. How are you?
Good, man. I'm doing good, Matty. Good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Doing way better with the Tigers winning the first 2 games, man. I know Ben, I know every LSU fan is pulling for the Tigers to make it into regional play, and I am as well as a fan, but the radio host to me is just aching for this team to play as deep into June as possible. So, yeah, man, every win I get a little more fired up. Let me start there with what Jay Johnson said. Luke Holman, but I'll ask you a 2-part question here, Ben. Both Luke Holman and Gage Jump, but just your assessment on what the 2 of them have done so well the past 2 days.
Well, I mean, look, when you get this time of year and you're chasing wins like LSU are, you hope your best players, your stars, show up. I mean, that's when you need them to. And certainly, Gage Jump last night, and you knew Gage Jump was a really good pitcher. Obviously, coming off an injury at UCLA, didn't pitch at all last year, so you didn't know what you were going to get. It's taken him a while to kind of, I think, get his feet wet in the SEC a little bit, man. But you go back and look, his last 5 starts, man. I'm going to tell you, it's a 2.3 ERA over his last 5. I think he's walked 4, struck out 39. So he seems to be pitching his best when it matters the most. And, he's starting to come into his own as a pitcher. Because you got to remember, he was a kid, only had 16 2/3 total innings pitched in his college career when he stepped foot here in Baton Rouge. And he's pitching like a real Friday night guy. And, of course, Luke Holman, we knew what we were getting with Luke Holman. I think you hoped that he would improve, and he has. And you look at the numbers on the year, I mean, he's top 5 in the SEC, of course, in strikeouts and ERA and innings pitched and opponent's batting average, all those things. So I think he's been as good as you hoped he would be. And these are the things that I think why LSU should be in the NCAA tournament. You run those 2 guys out there in a regional or a super regional, and you got a good chance to win. Everybody wants LSU to play better. You want the offense to get better. And, of course, it needs to get a little bit more consistent and get better. But I'll take those 2 guys, going 1-2 any day of the week, and they've shown up big for LSU when you needed them to. Ben,
LSU used Griffin Herring in back-to-back days. I'm almost certain that's the first time all season they've done that. Is he done for the weekend, or is there a scenario where he could come back tomorrow?
I think he might be done. Now he only threw 10 pitches last night, and that's why he was able and available today. He goes 2 innings today. So I don't know. Now, maybe there's a chance, depending on how he feels when he gets to the ball game tomorrow, maybe he comes get you an out in a big situation. You got Andrew Fisher, the big left-handed hitter, for Ole Miss with 20 homers on the year. And so maybe there's a scenario where you come in and you got to get him out in a big situation. But if he does come back, I think it'd just be for 1 batter, and that's about it. And so, yeah, I mean, he threw back-to-back days. Of course, Christian Little back-to-back days as well. So you wonder about their status for tomorrow. But the good news is because Luke Holman gave you some length, there's some guys in that bullpen will be available tomorrow. So it may end up being a bullpen-type day for LSU tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll get to Game 3 here in just a quick second. Ben McDonald's with us. He's been on the call the past 2 days. I'd also love your opinion, Ben, on the LSU approach at the plate against Ole Miss the past 2 days, facing a righty and a lefty. In particular, how they were able to break through today with some tough sledding at times.
Yeah, I mean, look, Ole Miss pitched it really. I had 2 of their games last weekend against Texas A&M, and honestly, their pitching staff has not been that good this year. But last weekend, I felt like they started to turn the corner. They held, one of the best offensive teams in Texas A&M to a total of 9 runs in that 3-game series. So their pitching really picked it up. I mean, Liam Doyle was going today. He had his best outing last weekend. Maddox, yesterday. And LSU got to Maddox. He's given up 5 runs last night, and they got to Doyle too. And, the bottom part of the lineup, I think, was big for LSU today. Larson, the freshman who's come on the second half of the season, got that double with 2 out. Milizzo drove him in. Of course, you got the homer in the first inning by Tommy White. And then, Braswell and Tommy White make a little bit of noise. Now, the 6th inning was a little bit disappointing with the bases loaded and only 1 out. LSU could not scratch a run, and that was a little bit disappointing. But I think it's more of LSU. I mean, look, what they do best is they hit home runs. That's what they do. They're the 5th in the league in hitting home runs. We know the batting average is not great. The runs per game is kind of middle of the pack, And so LSU's got a chance to beat you because they can blow the ball out of the ballpark from time to time. And I think that's that's really their asset on offense. We knew, going into this year, you weren't going to have the kind of offense you had last year. You had a lot of veteran players last year. You get 13 players drafted. So it's a very average offense for me when I talk about LSU when you compare them, to the other SEC teams. But they do hit the ball out of the ballpark, and that's kind of what I call a puncher's chance. They always have a puncher's chance to blow one out, And so, but this is also the time of the year that you forget about what you've done all year long. Can you be better than what you were going forward? We saw Ole Miss make this incredible run a couple of years ago all the way to the national championship. I think LSU's got that kind of run in them because I like how Christian Little's throwing the ball out of the bullpen right now for LSU. He's kind of really coming to his own, and so if the others start to pick it up a little bit, I think this team has a chance. They just got to find their way into the NCAA tournament. They just got to get in and then kind of go from there.
Well, to get in, Ben, presumably they're going to have to win tomorrow, right? I mean, we've all talked about the stat where there hasn't been a team go 12-18 in the conference in this format and make it into regionals. So if LSU wins tomorrow, they get to 13. That seems to be the magic number. They'll have to beat Mason Nichols, the junior righty. What can you tell? I'm not sure, Ben, if you mentioned you've gotten to see Nichols this year, but what can you tell us about the junior righty that LSU is going to face tomorrow?
Yeah, Mason Nichols has, been a guy at Ole Miss for a couple of years now. He's been kind of in and out of the rotation. I would say he's average, but he can beat you. And you know how that goes. I mean, pitching, if you get hot that particular day, you can really run through a lineup a few times. And Mason Nichols is one of those guys. He's got a good fastball. It's a low 90s fastball. He, command is kind of his thing, and he'll spin a breaking ball to change it. But it's not like you're facing a real number one kind of dude, And so LSU's got a chance to put some runs on the scoreboard. There's no doubt about that. And everybody gets caught up in these wins and this, that, and the other. It's not a prerequisite, as you know, to get to 13 wins. I mean, that seems to be the number. But, the selection committee, I don't know why they do this, and it's confusing to me. I don't know how you can compare an SEC team that says goes 13-17 in conference play versus, and it's nothing against the Sun Belt or the Pac-12 or whatever conference, but 13 wins in the SEC is not like, 15 wins in any other conference. It's even better than that. You know what I'm saying? And
yes.
So that's always been the number we feel like, but I don't know why we talk about that. To me, it's about getting the best 64 teams in the tournament. And I'll give you a great example. I mean, every SEC softball team
Bingo.
got in the SEC. And Ole Miss softball had 7 wins in conference, and yet they got in the NCAA tournament. So for me, it's about who's the best 64. And I'm not taking anything away from anybody else, but this crap about, well, you got to win X amount of games to get in, and if you only win X amount in the SEC, I don't know if you can get in. And that, I think that's a bunch of hogwash, to be honest. If it was me doing it, I would really try to break down the best 64 teams. I don't care what their conference record was, because that is not a prerequisite to get in. Are you one of the best 64 teams in the country? And if you are, you deserve to be in the tournament.
The softball comparison is perfect, Ben. For those who don't know, all 13 SEC softball teams, Vandy doesn't play softball, all 13 SEC softball teams got in because they were all deserving of getting in.
Right.
And it should be that way in baseball as well. Like Ole Miss and Florida and LSU, they should all be in the NCAA field because they're better than teams that just have a nicer conference record in a lesser league. So, but Ben, I mean, we got tons of history that says that's not what the committee does when they get in the room. So LSU's kind of fighting that. So they got to win Game 3 to really, presumably, Ben, eliminate most doubt. I guess, Ben, they go with Ackenhausen tomorrow as sort of an opener like we've seen. He threw 21 pitches in Game 1. Does that make the most sense to start Ackenhausen and piece it together after that?
I mean, that's a possibility. There's no doubt. I mean, Samuel Dutton has started once or twice along the way. He hasn't pitched this weekend, so it could be Ackenhausen. It could be Dutton. It could be Javen Coleman. You could see Javen Coleman get the start, too. And it almost feels like that's kind of what it's going to be. It's more of a bullpen day. I think Mike Bianco will try to match up against whoever it is out there. But I can see a scenario where somebody starts as an opener, goes 2 innings, next guy comes in and gives you 3, next guy gives you 2, and you try to piecemeal it together. And you try to figure out a way to win and score some runs, and maybe you win that way. Because the bullpen has been used a little bit. There's still some guys. I mean, Guidry will be available again tomorrow. And there's some guys down there, Cade Anderson. I don't know about Thatcher Hurd. I don't know where Jay is with Thatcher Hurd. And obviously that's been a little bit of a disappointment this year. But I guess I could see a scenario where maybe he finds his way into some action as well, So, look, they're chasing wins right now. That's what they have to do. And, what the blessing in disguise could be this. I mean, the committee does not like to put a whole bunch of SEC teams in. We know that. But I tell you what, Ole Miss is very close to 500. Florida, I think, is at 500. And as you know, you got to be above 500 to get a bid into the NCAA tournament. And so if Ole Miss goes to the SEC tournament and, goes 0-1 and they're out of the tournament, they're not above 500. They can't get a bid no matter what the resume is. Same thing with Florida. I think Florida's 500 right now. I don't know if they won their extra inning game or not, but if they lose tomorrow, they'll be below 500 going to the SEC tournament. And so if those two teams don't find their way in, that really benefits LSU. The committee can say, okay, we don't have to take 9 or 10 SEC teams. We'll just take 7 or 8, and LSU could be one of those teams.
Yeah, Florida did win today, Ben, in extras. So, but you're 100% right. I mean, if you're an LSU fan, you were very much cheering against Florida this weekend, and in the SEC tournament, same with Ole Miss.
And Matty, one more thing too. I think the way you're trending late matters too to the committee. And LSU now has won 4 of their last 5 SEC series. I know the competition's not been great, but that doesn't matter. I mean, you've won 4 of your 5 last SEC series. I think that's big for LSU too, because they are certainly trending in the right direction.
Ben, before you go, I'd love a thought on Skenes. Incidentally, and Ben, I didn't know this. I was watching the broadcast on Saturday, the Pittsburgh Pirates broadcast, and they made mention of Paul Skenes being the earliest big league call-up in 35 years since you, which is a really cool parallel, obviously, with a couple of LSU aces. Man, Skenes today, I know you were on the call, so I doubt you got to watch it. I heard you mention it a couple of times as you and Lynn were maybe following, but my goodness, 6 no-hit innings, 11 Ks, and 1 walk for Paul Skenes. Thought on what you've seen through a couple of starts here from Paul?
Wow. I mean, that's all I can say. I mean, but are you surprised? I mean, look, this kid, when I saw him at LSU last year and, we didn't know the velocity was going to be what it was. It just kind of blew up last year. And I saw him that February start in mid-February on a cool day in Baton Rouge, and the first pitch out of his hand was 99. I went, okay, he's just amped up. This will come back down. Then the next one's 100, then it's 101, and he carried it all the way through 7 innings. I'm like, what are we looking at here? And it's not so much about the velocity. I mean, if you go to Pitch Savant, Major League Baseball tracks all the pitches and the movement. His fastball, not only is it 100 miles an hour average, the horizontal movement on it is 6 inches more than the average big league pitcher's movement on his fastball. So when you combine that kind of movement with that kind of velocity, of course, he picked up that new breaking ball from Wes Johnson, who's now the head coach at Georgia now, that sweeping slider of his, it's got 5 more inches of movement than anybody else's slider in the game too. You combine those kind of, 2 things together with the work ethic, his background, his military background. He was a kid that's going to succeed. And look, I've been saying this, and when I saw him pitch last year, I said it. We're looking at a big league pitcher that could go hold his own. The question I got for the Pirates is, what the hell took so long? I mean, what were you guys thinking? Like he should have made the team out of spring training, But I get all the time and all that kind of stuff. I get it, but I mean, look, this is special stuff, and I'm not trying. I don't want to get too excited about it because I know how fragile our hard throwers are. And we got so many guys on the IL right now. But if this cat stays healthy, man, I'm gonna tell you. I mean, we're talking about an all-star. We're talking about a Cy Young kind of guy that's going to be in that conversation every year. He's a horse, we know. And so it's pretty special. The Pirates have got, I think, the best prospect to come along in I don't know how many years. And so we'll see what it holds. We'll see what he does. But obviously he's off to a phenomenal start. I'm so happy for him, and he deserves it, man. He's worked his tail off to get to where he is, and now he's at the highest level, and he's blowing the doors off some folks right now.
He is on Twitter at Real Ben McDonald. Y'all give him a follow. Ben, are you going to be on the call tomorrow as well with Lynn?
No, I got my son's graduation party tomorrow,
Awesome.
and I got to take off, hit an airplane on Sunday, and get into St. Louis and do some Orioles stuff. And so this is my last college call with Lynn Rollins. And, of course, I'll be hopped on for the regionals and super regionals and the College World Series, but I'm off to do some Orioles stuff after this.
Well, hopefully we hear you on another LSU call somewhere in the postseason. Ben, it's always a pleasure, man. Thanks for always taking time for us.
My pleasure. Take care of yourself.
Okay, man. That's the one and only Ben McDonald. What a pleasure to have him. What a resource. We appreciate him making time. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com with more than 30 offices. I keep saying 30 offices across 11 different states. I checked the Michelli website yesterday. I'm wrong. They're in 12 states now. They just continue growing and expanding. And, some of the conversations I had with a lot of the Michelli brass when I was down at the ribbon cutting for their expanded calibration lab in Harahan is that they're not stopping. Like, they're aiming at going international. They're already our nation's largest distributor of scales, and I tell you every day, if you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, and rent the products you use to weigh and measure. They're experts. They're in-house. They service measurement tools and equipment of all different makes and models. So check them out online. If you want to learn see about their comprehensive calibration lab and all the services they provide. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. Michelli.com. Okay, Mincy will be here to start hour 3. We'll get his picks. If you're expecting Terrio, our apologies. Young Houston Terrio, graduating from the Dunham School. We offer our congratulations. So a big shout out to Houston. So Terrio's doing the family thing, and that's awesome. So he'll be back with us next Friday. We'll now got a quick break. Come back. Muse will have Tigers in the pros. We will give you sort of our thumbnail preview of LSU-Ole Miss Game 3 coming up later. If you want to jump aboard, you always can. Email us, tweet us, text us. Lots of ways to get involved. Verge Ausberry was here in hour 1. We talked about Scott Rabalay's report about LSU potentially playing a football game in Ireland. If you missed that conversation, you can get it on demand, AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. All right, wrap up hour number 2 with Tigers in the Pros next.
AFR.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
after further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Oh, Muse, Tigers in the pros. How in the world did that?
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Time flies when you're having fun, Matt. All right, we've been telling you about Paul
Bro,
Skenes.
I was totally looking at the wrong clock. My apologies.
You're good. We've been telling you about Paul Skenes one more time for you. 6 no-hit innings in his second start, 11 strikeouts, 1 walk. Struck out the first 7 batters that he faced in the ballgame. Was just electric. The ERA now at 2.70, and he will trudge on. Alex Bregman, he is heating up. 2 more hits last night. One of them a double. Scored a run. Average all the way up to 228 as Bregman continues to push on. Minor League Baseball doubleheader action for the Harrisburg Senators. Dylan Cruz had 2 hits in the doubleheader, but Todd Peterson's the real story. Hey. Todd Peterson got the start in this, which I was surprised about. Was really pitching well at the back end. Didn't go great for Todd Peterson. 3 earned in an inning and 2/3. But he will trudge on.
It didn't go great for Todd Peterson. We love Todd Peterson. I think Todd Peterson's going to have a great career. Can't wait for Todd Peterson to get his call up to the big league.
Todd Peterson.
Nas Reed had a double-double last night, 10 and 11.
Stayed.
That's Tigers in the pros.
My sincere apologies. I don't know. I was looking at the wrong clock, and I completely pinched us here. We have like 30 seconds, actually 15 seconds, so I apologize. We're going to knock out a quick break. Sorry. We're going to get to Sports Center, Mincy, LSU-Ole Miss Game 3 preview, some football talk. Busy third hour, straight ahead. Don't you move. It's AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
AFR.
All right, y'all, graduation weekend. How about it, y'all? Celebrating the grad in your life? How about a gift from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry? Yeah, you can stuff some cash in a card, but how about something that's going to last? Something that every time they wear it or use it or look at it, they're going to remember this great accomplishment and you. Thrill that grad with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. So go to the website, lmfj.com. Look, you can always just walk into one of the locations. But the website, lmfj.com, Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Scroll down, and you'll see the grad gift page, the link right there when you scroll down on the homepage. Click it, and there are dozens of amazing, affordable gifts. Watches, pendants, bracelets, earrings, writing utensils. It's all there for you at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill that grad with a gift from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com.
When things heat up, you don't just want a cold one. You want the coldest one. The cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged one. Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Brack, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. On his way to the second round of the PGA Championship, Scottie Scheffler was pulled over, handcuffed, and arrested by Louisville police for driving around stopped traffic. He was later released but faces multiple charges. ESPN's Michael Collins describes what another player told him about his drive to the golf course this morning.
We did the exact same move that Scottie Scheffler attempted to do, and that was go around traffic and turn into the golf course. And when the security or police officer saw the car and the markings on the side of the car, they just waved us through with no issues whatsoever.
Michael Collins, Scheffler is 9 under par after a 66 today. He's 3 shots behind the leader, Xander Schauffele. The second round continuing on ESPN and ESPN+. In the NBA playoffs tonight, Game 6 for the Knicks and Pacers in Indianapolis. New York with a 3-2 series lead. Coverage at 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio and TV. Pirates rookie Paul Skenes throws 6 no-hit innings against the Cubs today. The Pirates win the game 9-3.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Commercial Insurance. It flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. We do it every Friday, although it's not a weekend opening series. We're already deep into the weekend. Ben Mintz from Barstool joins us to get a little college baseball picks. Hit it, Muse.
It's time to cash some tickets. Let's preview the college baseball weekend with Ben Mintz and Barstool Sports, presented by the DraftKings Sportsbook.
Mincy, how are you?
I'm doing well. So, funny quick story before we get to the baseball. I had my chance. I did my first stand-up comedy last night.
Okay. Video or it didn't happen?
Okay, I got it. I'll send y'all the drive link with the clips. I'll send it to Mincy.
Hey, first thing real quick. Are we on like speaker or Bluetooth?
Yeah, we're
okay,
on Bluetooth.
Please, yeah, do me a favor. Pick up the handset, please. It's just like it's really, really echoey and hard to hear. Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. We're normally Zoom.
Right,
we're having some trouble with the video, but all right, we got Mincy. All right, thanks, Mincy.
Is this better?
Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was on Bluetooth, and now I've got it on. Got it on. Okay.
All right. So give me the deets there, man. On the stand-up.
Okay. So I got asked to host. We have a Barstool comedy night every couple months at the Laugh Factory Chicago, which is a pretty famous comedy
Yeah,
club.
absolutely.
And so we had Big Cat hosted the first one, PFT the second, Brandon Walker the third, and they had me host the fourth one. And we had like 4 comics, a couple of our guys, Nick Traney and Mook, and then a couple of local comics. And I got to say, I did really, really well. Like I did like a 10-minute opening, and my whole bit was off Mother's Day and telling stories of how much I tortured my poor mother raising me, and how we don't deserve our mothers. But it went over really, really well. And the only thing I did wrong was I guess I'm not used to the stand-up delivery, so I talked probably a little too fast, and you got to pause more and get the laughs. But I had the crowd, the energy rocking. I had them laughing, so it went really good. We had over 200 people there too, so it was a good crowd.
Awesome, man. I'm actually looking. Let's see. At Kate Barstool tweeted some pictures here. So here you are at the Laugh Factory on stage. I love it, Mincy. What's is that like a high school or a frat picture of you on your shirt?
Yeah, so that's from my composite pic from the ATO house. I think my freshman or sophomore year.
I want one so bad. Oh man.
South shirt. My buddy was wearing one in front of the PGA Championship trophy today and took the pic at the tournament.
So good. All right. Back to what we know, Mincy. That's college baseball. All right, Muse, hit the music if you would. We got, you know the drill. Me, Mincy, Muse. We give you 3 picks on Friday. Paulie, can we get our standings up? I don't know how we all did last week. Let's see. All right. Muse and I went 2-1. Mincy, you went 1-2.
Okay.
So, all right, here we are, this is the final weekend of this. So, Scone 13-7-1.
Strong.
How about your boy?
Strong, man.
Muse 11-10, 1 game over 500. Mincy right on the line, 12-12. So, 3 to go. You want me to start since I'm in the lead? I guess I don't even think I can lose this at this point.
No, you don't.
10. I mean, all right, I'm going to start it off. I am on Tennessee at home against South Carolina, but I'm on the run line. I'm laying the 1.5 with Tennessee at home in a 5:30 first pitch, 25 minutes from right now against the Gamecocks. Mincy, what's your first?
All right, my first one tonight is I like the under 12 in Wake NC State because Chase Burns is pitching for Wake Forest tonight.
Okay. What is it, 12 or 12.5?
Well, it's 12.
All right, it's at 12. All right, Muse?
I'm taking the Aggies in a bounce-back spot. I mean, they suffered the Hagen-Smith challenge last night. Didn't go well, but Texas A&M needs something to go well for them. Arkansas shuffled their rotation. I'll take the Aggies in the bounce-back. Not the best number at 145 on the money line, but we're going with it.
All right, so you're going money line.
Money line.
Can I go Tennessee money line then if you're going A&M money line?
Well, I mean, it's 220 Tennessee. I mean, that's
run line. When it's over 200.
No, I'm kidding. See, I'm gonna lay the 1.5. All right, my second. I'm looking at Kentucky Vandy. I think the total in that one's big, especially because Vandy's offense stinks. I'm gonna go Kentucky Vandy under 13.5. What a season for the Kentucky Wildcats. They just continue to chug along. So give me Kentucky Vandy under 13.5. Mincy, what you got?
Man, Musso beat me to it. I'm on A&M too because I think when Arkansas doesn't have Hagen-Smith pitching, even with as good as their record is, I think they're kind of vulnerable, and the Aggies are at home. So I'm on the same thing.
All right, Muse.
I'm going to Knoxville as well, but I'm taking the over 12.5 in that. They combined for 12 runs last night in Game 1. This is Game 2 in that ballpark. South Carolina gave up double digits to Georgia all last weekend. Give me the Vols and the Gamecocks to go over 12.5.
It's funny how we're all just picking SEC games. Well, Mincy did. In fairness, Mincy threw in an NC State Wake game there.
I got one for you.
Okay, my last one. I am also looking at Arkansas A&M, but I'm going under 12 in that game. You both are on the Aggies. I'm on the under in that game, so I'm taking Arkansas, Texas A&M under 12 in that game tonight. Mincy, what's your third?
My third is ULL, whatever they are. On the run line to kill South Alabama because they're really good. They've been blowing through the Sun Belt this year. And I don't know. They're hot right now. I mean, I saw their national title odds actually all the way down to 80-1. I mean, I think UOL could make a run maybe to win a regional the way they're playing.
Mincy, I'm looking at the DraftKings app right now, and I'm not seeing that number. Do you have it in front of you?
I saw it yesterday. They probably have the odds down right now because it's like these series are going on, maybe.
Okay. I'm just not seeing the one for today.
Yeah. No, UOL one. Oh, yeah. Oh, that game. I don't know. Like, I actually was panicking because the picks I gave out earlier, so many games were already going on that I just was like reaching for a third one. So hang on. I might have to find another third one if there's no line on that one.
Let me check it real quick, Muse. Go ahead and give your third.
All right, third one, we're going to go out to L.A. We're taking the USC Trojans tonight, minus $1.40 on the money line. They're facing Utah. Utah right now projected to be in the field. They shouldn't be. They're not good. And they lost last night, and I think USC takes the series tonight.
All right, let's see. Mincy,
I got a third one. I'm going to go TCU run line by 1.5. TCU, it seems like they do a really good job getting hot this time of year a lot. We've seen it, and I think they're doing it again. So I'll take a minus 1.5 at home over West Virginia.
Yeah, it's odd, Mincy. I don't know why the ULL game isn't there because that is a 6 o'clock first pitch today at the Teague. So I don't know why it's off the board, but it's off the board right now. Okay, so Mincy's third pick will be TCU minus 1.5, all there at the DraftKings Sportsbook. What's good in life, Mincy? What's going on this weekend?
I feel like I'm surprised we made it this far through this phone call without y'all mentioning what's going on at the box so far this weekend.
Mincy, I just don't know that either team has a whole lot of room to brag about anything. I think this weekend for LSU is far less about any type of bragging rights over Ole Miss or anything. It's more just find a way to get into the freaking field of 64. I mean, I think that's where it is,
No, well, I thought the same thing going in, and I texted Musso this earlier. I think Ole Miss is going to win tomorrow because both teams are destined to go 12-18 in the SEC and deserve it this year. They both are just right on the edge of it. They've both been disappointing, and so I think it's just destined where both teams need. It's going to end up just short.
Mincy, what do you think about the pitching matchup tomorrow?
Well,
LSU's TBA, obviously, but yeah.
I didn't see who's going tomorrow.
Hang on. Do you know it offhand?
Mason Nichols is going for
Mason Nichols
for Ole Miss.
And LSU's TBA.
Okay, yeah, Nichols is pretty good. I mean, he's solid. I mean, I think, but he's not a guy that's going to go super deep in the game. I think you're trying to get kind of a bullpen game on Saturday, game 3, but I don't know, man. I mean, I've been saying all year, I'm trying to just be realistic, but I mean, I'm not surprised what's going on this weekend. I think Ole Miss has kind of been up and down all year and struggled to win on the road. I do want to mention I'm doing Hoover, Alabama massive next week.
Sweet, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
when do you get
live
there?
shows.
I'm doing live Wake Up Mincy 8 a.m. from the Hoover tailgate, the left field parking lot. I got Kyle Peterson one day, the 11.7 guys. Kendall Rogers is supposed to come by.
Awesome.
We're doing a crawfish bowl out there, big Louisiana crew. And I'll go ahead and tell y'all right now, part 2 of the battle versus the Vandy Whistler could be coming next week.
For those that missed it, Mincy and the Vandy Whistler had a tete-a-tete at the College World Series a couple of years ago in Omaha. And I don't know. I'd love to see part 2, how that might go.
Well, Big Cat's saying I have to do a 1 million view video. He's like, we're going to let you travel, but you have to go viral to keep it going. So he's like, we want 1 million view videos next week.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, I'm thinking, how do I do that? And I was like, well, we got 10 million last time I went after the Whistler, so I guess we're going to have to battle again.
Fair enough. All right, Mincy, have a good weekend, brother. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, man. That's Ben Mintz. It's After Further Review. Hey, y'all, if you're looking for dinner plans tonight or you're knocking off work, you don't want to go home, just pop in the Supper Club. I keep telling you, Supper Club, about a month ago, they opened up bar seating. So it's open seating at the bar. They just started that about a month ago, kind of coinciding with when we started talking about Supper Club here on the show. So, man, it's a Friday night. If you don't want to go home after work, you want to go somewhere, pop into Supper Club right there on Perkins Road, man. The weather's going to be nasty. No sense in going home and just sitting and watching the rain. Go to Supper Club and enjoy that incredible ambiance, the elegant, casual ambiance, the fun sexy, stylish ambiance at Supper Club. I say it all the time, man. Actually, this is Brandon's line. I can't even take credit for it. A hot dog tastes better at the ballpark. A margarita tastes better on the beach. And a steak tastes better at Supper Club. I mean, we have people that drive in from out of town. They plan weekends to come into Baton Rouge just so they can go to Supper Club. So, yeah, look, man, I understand it's a place where it's hard to get a reservation, but it's not impossible. And sometimes reservations fall through, so it's always worth calling up there to see. But you can always just walk into the bar, and it's open seating at the bar. So grab a couple of bar stools, maybe have dinner at the bar, have a premium cocktail, a glass of wine, and have a night you'll never forget at Supper Club. Again, remember, you can book your reservation at supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. Look, man, you can get prime meat everywhere. It used to be that you could only get prime meat. You hear USDA prime. You should only be able to get that at restaurants. Well, now you can get USDA prime anywhere. I mean, like Rouse's, great sponsor. Go to Rouse's, you can get USDA prime. If you want boutique, exclusive, super high quality beef that you can only get at one place, not only in Baton Rouge, but in Louisiana, it's Supper Club. Supperclubbtr.com for your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, or just walk on in. Bar seating is open at Supper Club. Okay, it's after further review. Tigers win Game 2 against Ole Miss. One win away from the sweep. Can they get that evasive sweep, that evasive, elusive third win in a series? Game 3 win in a series. Tigers are going for it tomorrow at the box. We'll talk a little bit about it, some of the scenarios when we come back. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We'll let you hear from Jay Johnson as well, who wrapped up his media availability after the Tigers won Game 2, 4-2 over the Rebs. Stick around with us here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling commercial or residential. If you need a realtor, you need the best. You need Darren James. I tell you all the time, it doesn't matter if your home is a $100,000 house or a $100 million house. The thing that Darren James does better than anyone is make you feel like you are his only client. Right now, I just saw this is just listed with Darren James. It's 1.2 acres in Baton Rouge on Magnolia Wood Avenue. You can check it out at agent225.com, agent225.com, or you can always call Darren James on his cell. If you're interested, I'll give you Darren's cell phone number. Call him right now, 335-7666. Darren James's cell phone number, 225-335-7666, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com for the best for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Really proud of him. His competitive makeup is as good as anybody in the country, and he's had an All-American caliber season, and certainly proud of him for that. And when the game's on the line and such a leverage spot, and not just leverage spot in the game, but leverage spot in the season for us, there's nobody else that I'd rather have out there.
Jay Johnson talking about Griffin Herring, who came on, pitched the final 2 innings for LSU today, got the save for the second consecutive day. But with Herring having pitched now in back-to-back days, I think it's a safe assumption that even though his workload wasn't heavy, just 10 pitches on Thursday, 21 pitches today. Was that the pitch count for Herring? Do you have the box score in front of you? Just check the box score. It was something along those lines. I think 10 pitches yesterday, 21 today. So
23 for Herring today.
Okay, so 10 then 23. It's hard, even though that's such a low workload, it's hard to imagine they're going to throw him a third consecutive day, because just the whole process of getting hot and throwing intense competitive pitches is taxing, and we haven't seen him do it 3 consecutive days. If I'm not mistaken, that was the first time he's gone back-to-back all year. Has he done it?
That was the first time he's going back-to-back all year. I'm pretty sure, I'm checking right now, that's the first time he's pitched in the same weekend all year long.
So you'd be asking, I get it. It's the biggest game of the year. I mean, if you don't win Game 3, you're going to have to do something that no team in the SEC has done. That's a lot of history that I don't like competing against. And we can pound the table and gnash our teeth and kick rocks and everything, but ultimately the committee's going to sit in that room, and they're still trying to prevent college baseball from regionalizing, and they're going to try to expand and get as many teams in from different leagues as possible to continue to grow the game outside of the Southeast. So it's not realistic to think 12 SEC teams are going to get into the field. You're going to get 10, probably. So, can LSU be one of those? Is interesting. You're saying yes on Herring? You were nodding very big.
Oh, gosh, I don't even remember why.
Okay, awesome. We'll just keep rolling then. So, here's my thing. If you're in a situation in Game 3 where you needed Herring for one hitter, maybe. But still the process of loosening up, getting hot, and going into the game to get that hitter. It's just hard to imagine that they would do that. So you look at what is available tomorrow. Nate Ackenhausen didn't pitch today. And considering that you haven't had a whole lot of success with your openers other than Ackenhausen, my guess is that's probably the route Jay goes. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't have any inside information sitting here at 5:23 on a Friday. I'll have a much better sense tomorrow morning of what he's going to do. I'll know tomorrow morning what he's going to do. But I would think he goes Ackenhausen. And then you have some combination in whatever order of Samuel Dutton, Fidel Ulloa, you got Gavin Guidry there. I want to say Cade Anderson. I just don't know that Jay trusts Cade Anderson in conference play anymore. Cade's had this year where he started the season, he was so dominant midweek play. He had a couple of chances in the SEC out of the bullpen. It didn't work. Went back to the midweek, was dominant in the midweek again, really effective. They gave him a couple chances again coming out of the bullpen in SEC play. It didn't go well again. And even to start an SEC game, and it wasn't that outing that he started game 3 against Auburn. Wasn't it Auburn game 3 against Auburn?
It was Auburn, yes.
And he had a lot of bad luck in that outing. But even still, you give up 3 runs and you don't get out of the first. It just feels like you can tell Jay and every coach when they get to this point in the season, they shrink their rotation. They have their guys they're gonna rely on. They're 2 or 3 starters. They're 5 or 6 guys out of the bullpen, and you know who they are for Jay Johnson right now. You've got the 2 guys at the front with Jump and Holman, and then I just ran through them. It's Herring, it's Ackenhausen, Dutton, Ulloa, Guidry. Those are Little, who's obviously not going to be available tomorrow after throwing today. Those are your guys. And in rare circumstances, then you have like your up 10, down 10 guys where there are arms that are there that if you're in a game that you're winning by 10 or you're losing by 10 and you don't want to use your key guys, you're going to run out there. And maybe that's Will Helmers, maybe that's Kate Anderson, maybe that's Javen Coleman. We were looking up Javen Coleman in the break. Coleman hasn't pitched since April 30th against Grambling. He hasn't pitched in an SEC weekend since Vanderbilt. Y'all, that was April the 6th. It's been 6 weeks since Coleman pitched in an SEC weekend. Jay ain't going to throw him out there unless you're up 10, down 10. So I think, and if Dutton had a better go of it last weekend, he started fine, then they got away from him. Maybe they could have gone that route. But it really feels like Ackenhausen, having thrown 20 pitches yesterday, having the day off today, you probably use Ack as an opener to get you through the lineup once. And then you have whatever combination of Dutton, Ulloa, Guidry, maybe Kate Anderson out there. We'll see how they get through it. Muse, you have a feeling on what Jay may do tomorrow?
Yeah, so I'm with you. I think it's either Dutton or Ack, but the reason I'll go Ack is also Ole Miss's best hitters are left-handed. Like Fisher, the kid who leads them in homers and RBI, he's left-handed. Will Furness, who's hitting 270 down the stretch or so in SEC play, he's left-handed. Like, their best guys are lefties. LSU's got a lot of lefties. That's why I think a guy like Justin Lohr could play a big role on in game number 3 as well.
I should have thrown Lohr in there, of course.
Maybe more of a lefty matchup role, though. Like, I think the days of them asking Lohr to go out there and extend are done.
It's a good thing that you brought up Fisher. Herring went into the game today to face Fisher. That's when they went and got him out of the bullpen with 2 men on. So it was a big spot. Nobody out, too.
Nobody out.
And Herring went. Did he strike out? So he went strikeout.
And then ground out to the pitcher.
Ground out to the pitcher.
They're athletes.
Yes, pitchers are athletes. I'm joking because I popped my head into Muse's office down there. It's like, save your Griffin Herring fielding the tapper to the mound. Of course, that's how LSU end up unceremoniously losing game 1 against Alabama, where Milazzo fielded the ball that a lot of people thought Herring might have gotten. But I digress. So, yes, I mean, I think if Ackenhausen can get you through the lineup once or twice, not once, get you through the lineup once, and then you can go, and he likes to go lefty-righty, maybe go Dutton after that, perhaps Lohr in a situational spot to Ulloa, and then maybe Guidry get you home. I think that's probably a best case. If you're mapping it out, best case, that's probably how it looks for LSU tomorrow. But remember, in the first 2 games of this series, LSU has built a 5-0 and a 4-0 lead, which allowed the bullpen to pitch with the lead. And I think that would, obviously, yes, it's better when you're pitching with the lead. I think that would be significant for LSU tomorrow if they can do the same offensively, get the bullpen a lead, and maybe see if they can take it home. Because I do agree. And listen, Jay Johnson said it. Can you play 5, please? He has to lobby for his team, and I understand it, but he's right.
I think we've put ourselves in a great position. I've alluded to this before. Nobody plays the schedule that we do. I don't think there's anybody outside of our league that could win 4 or 5 series against the 5 teams that we've played. And we're a postseason team. There's no doubt about that in my mind. We're going to stay focused on tomorrow and then focus on our job in Hoover. But, we're definitely one of the best 64 teams in the country. There's no question about that. I know historically with the committee, how you play down the stretch factors into their decision-making. And I don't know that there's 10 better teams over the last 4 weeks than us.
Yeah, Tigers are, save the hiccup against Alabama with blowing game 1. You'd be looking at a scenario where you would have won 5 straight series down the stretch. So we'll see what they can do. Late ad, LSU defensive line transfer Gio Paez is coming up next. Late ad to the show. We're excited to have him. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. Hey, look, don't wait. If you've been thinking about a refractive procedure, don't wait. Schedule that consultation. Don't wait for the summer. Don't wait for the fall. Call now. I know it's Friday at 5:28, but if you've been thinking about it, man, go to the Williamson Eye Center website. You know, what's so interesting is, we talk about LASIK all the time. Evo ICL is an alternative to LASIK for people who are nearsighted. And what's so interesting to me is how many optometrists trust Dr. Blake Williamson to do their LASIK, their Evo ICL, because he's the best. Learn more at williamsoneye.com. That's williamsoneye.com. And save the date. Williamson Eye Center, yet again, one of the sponsors for Federalis Fest, back for the second year this fall, coming up October the 5th. It's one day. It's located at the beautiful Live Oaks at Cedar Lodge in the heart of Mid-City. Federalis Fest is presented by the Williamson Eye Center and benefits the nonprofit Be Positive. So we'll tell you much more about it coming up in October, but Dr. Blake is a great supporter of this, and we're excited to tell you more as we get closer. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're aboard with us here on this Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll get to what we learned to wrap up the show, but when we come back, LSU defensive line transfer Gio Paez jumps aboard. Had him when he committed, and excited to talk to him again. See how his offseason is rolling along. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Y'all, I know the weather has been gnarly the past couple of days, but tomorrow it's finally supposed to clear and look clear and beautiful, and that's finally an amazing time to get by Clegg's Nursery. As a matter of fact, with some of the bad weather that whipped through these past couple of days, one of the flowers that we bought and planted a couple of weeks ago kind of got split in half by the wind. So we're probably going to be visiting Clegg's to replace that flower, which really took a beating from that wind a couple days ago. But whether you're planting flowers in your patio pots, your flower bed, if you're looking to kill weeds in your lawn or your garden, maybe you're trying to get rid of the pests, mosquitoes or ants or wasps or anything that could be swarming this time of year and bothering you while you're outdoors, Clegg's can help you get rid of all of it. And, of course, they can help you beautify your outdoor spaces. It's Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations: Siga near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local, tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
LSU landed its second transfer portal addition at defensive tackle this week. The first is a guy we had a chance to talk to a couple of months ago, and he's good enough to join us again, man, as we get closer to his arrival date in Baton Rouge. It's Wisconsin transfer new Tiger Gio Paez. Gio, great to have you back, man. How are you?
What's going on, Matt?
Hey, man.
It's great to be back.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it very, very much. You know, it's hard to believe it's been 2 months since you and I did this last. Let me just start, in that 2-month span since you committed and joined the Tigers, what have these 2 months been like? What have you been up to?
So primarily, I don't know if I mentioned the last time I was on here, but a former strength coach that I had at Wisconsin with the Coach Chris staff, I got blessed with the opportunity. He's actually still out here, and he's the head strength coach at a high school nearby. So since being away from the team and stuff, I've still been able to get the college quality training for the time being. And I've just kind of been doing that. And as we're narrowing down to getting to report day, right now I'm in the middle of moving, man. All my stuff is all around my house.
Yeah.
It's getting hectic.
When will you be in Baton Rouge?
I will be there on the 23rd, I believe. We're driving down. We'll get there on the 23rd.
Are you driving from Wisconsin or from the West Coast?
From Wisconsin.
Okay, so you're moving. You're from Southern California. Obviously, you've been in Wisconsin and now coming to Louisiana. Brother, you are going to experience 3 massively different cultures.
I already drove from Cali to Carolina. That was a 3-day trip, and I know it'll be long, but it's cool. I like to travel. I like to see new things, experience new things, so I'm looking forward to it.
What was going on in Carolina?
I went to high school out there. My mom ended up moving out there. I left Cathedral High School my freshman year. That's when I was only playing basketball. And then sophomore year, that's when I started playing football. And in Carolina, that's where it all started.
I don't know how I missed that the first time we talked. Maybe I remember looking at your Wisconsin bio, it just mentioned Cathedral. I don't think it mentioned anything about living in Carolina. So you got a little taste of the South. But
right.
Louisiana is very different South than Carolina. You know what I mean? It's the deep South is just going to, especially South Louisiana, is culturally different than every other part of the world, really. But
right.
You're going to love it, man. All right, so you've been working out with the strength coach there at a local high school. Give me some specifics. Weight, strength. I would imagine not going through spring, that's a little bit challenging, but for a 6-year guy, I mean, you've been through it. What spring? Well, let me ask you that actually before I get to that. What does that mean, missing spring, to you?
Honestly, it's not completely ideal with the timing of how everything panned out. I do think it's important to get your feet wet in the system. Also, just get with the guys, and that's where these kind of relationships start. And obviously, it carries on to the field. So I'm looking forward to getting over there and starting that up. But also, man, this is my 6th year. It is. I feel great. I feel my everything feels great. I feel healthy. And honestly, I miss football, man. I want to get back to it.
What was Gio Paez is our guest. Where are you weight-wise, strength-wise? Do you have targets? I mean, I guess I don't know. Is this something that Jake Flint has told you or Bo Davis has told you they want you at, or are you kind of on your own there right now?
For this time being, when I went to LSU and I reported and they did all the measurements and weights and all that, I was 6'3", 310, so I was right where I wanted to be, and that's where they wanted me to be as well. So I kind of just been trying to maintain that and just stay in the groove of things, man.
Yeah.
A lot of not even necessarily strength, like I'm over here trying to max out, but
right.
Joints, mobility, agile, all the things that you probably didn't know that were very important coming out of high school. But now with this experience and stuff, I put my time into a lot of things that are really important and translate well to the game.
One of the things I remember so much about the convo that you and I had a couple months ago, and Gio Paez is our guest, is you told me, and I'm paraphrasing here, but like you didn't do the photo shoot, you didn't do the pictures, all that stuff. It was just you were there for business to find the best spot because it's year 6, and it's like I gotta this is my time. So I'm paraphrasing here.
Right.
When you look at as this time approaches, have you stayed in touch with Bo Davis or Blake Baker about what they want you doing during this time? Have you continued to build that relationship with them in particular?
Absolutely. Like I'm saying, like I've conveyed to them very early on, like I'm not a high school recruit. Like I know I had to go through the recruiting thing and transfer, and they're trying to maintain contact, and they did really well at that. And but it's been very straightforward. And Coach Hicks, Coach Bo, and then me dealing with the academic side of things, getting my my transcript sent over. It's been in constant contact, so it's been good. I appreciate that.
A big conversation here, Gio, in the past couple of weeks since that spring portal window opened was, the need to add a defensive tackle. And LSU's been very public about that. How do you feel about that? And of course, they added JVR Suggs this week. As a guy coming in at that position, how do you feel about that sort of very public declaration that they needed to add more there at that position?
Right. I take no offense to it at all. Honestly, fans are going to think what fans are going to think regardless. I do think that it would be helpful to have other people in the mix, and obviously a defensive tackle just to keep everybody fresh and aggressive in general throughout the whole game. So I think that's important. I actually need to reach out to JVR and introduce myself. We got some mutual friends because he came from Grand Valley State, and a couple dudes came from Grand Valley State to Wisconsin while I've been here. So I'm looking forward to meeting him.
Very cool. Have you talked to Bo Davis or Blake Baker about your role, considering, this past year it was a 4-man rotation at defensive tackle. 2 years ago, man, they were so thin. Gio, they rotated 3 guys all year. 3 years ago, they rotated 5. Like, if y'all talked at all about what that rotation looks like?
No, and honestly, I wouldn't necessarily expect them to exactly know, because you won't really know till you got us all on the field together, see how we play together, how we complement each other. So I'm not going to barge with that question. It's not of my concern. I am anticipating them handling it accordingly, and it's not been of my concern.
What else in this time, since you've been committed or signed, I guess, with LSU, what else has maybe been enlightening to you, either about relationships, teammates, coaches, LSU in general?
Right. No, obviously it's a huge fan base. They're passionate about it. Obviously, you see they're very involved in knowing or looking into what they think that they need and things of that sort. So it's cool that they're very passionate. I know football in the South is like a religion. So I appreciate it. The love. Man, I'm just excited to get down there, get my feet wet, and get a taste of Baton Rouge.
Yes, man. You will have an opportunity to be indoctrinated into the Church of the Purple and Gold on Saturday, as we all genuflect on Saturday nights in Tiger Stadium, man. It's going to be a blast. Yeah. Actually, we're going to open up out in Vegas, man. That's like your neck of the woods out west, man. Did you grow up a USC fan?
I did grow up a USC fan.
The timeline fits, right, when they were having some pretty dominant teams.
I didn't know that was the first game of the season until a couple weeks. I'm very excited. And there's some other personal motivators that, people just talking crazy on Twitter. I got an athletic trainer over there. I'm not even going to give his name out, but I'm looking forward to whatever this first game in Vegas is.
Oh, man. So I'm assuming then USC, did they not recruit you? Did you want to go to USC and they didn't recruit you?
I had almost every other conference coming out of high school besides the Pac-12. Oregon tried getting at me late on, as I was already committed and signed to Wisconsin. But I grew up wanting to go to the Pac-12, and they didn't rock with me. So now it's whatever. I'm completely fine.
Hey man, what do you think? That's I guess we're going a little tangent here, but what do you think about the realignment now with the Pac-12 essentially dissolving? Like USC's now in the Big Ten.
Right. I think every conference kind of has their own style of play. Like, there's some schools where the O-line are coming downhill, and that's usually typically the Big Ten and the SEC, where the linemen are coming to hit. Other schools, more position blocking. I don't know. I think they'll transition. I don't know about the weather. That is going to be a question mark for them. But everything else, I don't know. We're going to have to see. I'm not going to give my sense on it like I know how it's going to play out.
Yeah, man, I think it's going to be a rough transition, man. Just
Right.
like we saw last year with UCF and Cincy and Houston that went into the Big 12 from the American. And you step up a level of competition, you can get humbled, man. I think that's probably going to happen to some of those teams. Well, we'll see as it all plays out, man. You'll have an opportunity to get a little early dig on them there, man. Remind them what they missed out on.
Right.
He's Gio Paez, LSU defensive tackle Gio Paez. Man, it's always a pleasure. Have a great weekend, man. We're looking forward to seeing you in person when you get down here in about a week or so.
Appreciate you, Matt.
That's our pleasure. Gio Paez, Wisconsin LSU D-line transfer. We've had the chance now to talk to Gio twice, and just the thing that always stands out to me, or it stood out to me the two times we talked to him, you could tell like how measured and focused he is. Like, it's a guy who, and some of this is just maturity, right? He's going to his 6th collegiate season. Like, he knows what he wants. Dude knows what he wants. He's been through a ton. California, moved to the Carolinas, went to Wisconsin. 6-year. I mean, he told us last time he was in a 3-4 Wisconsin, moving to a 4-3. That was appealing to him. Opportunity to make more plays. Like, the dude knows what he wants, and there is a ton to say about that. Like, I know a lot of people here have been focused on numbers or what LSU's going to do in the portal. That dude just told you he's 6'3", 310, and he is ready to roll. Like that. If I'm not making any grand predictions or anything, but that's a guy that if I look at the defense and say, who am I most interested to see how it works out through fall camp with a spot open, it's defensive tackle, and I'm interested to see if that guy can win a starting job. I mean, a lot to like there. All right, we're brought to you by Optimize, generatorpeople.com, generatorpeople.com. Hey, with that bad weather on Monday that rolled through, we woke up at 1 in the morning. 1 in the morning because the sound machine in the room went off because power went out. And it took about 15 seconds. Boom. Our Generac automatic home standby generator powered on. As a matter of fact, I got a coworker that told me today power's been out for 3 days since earlier this week with those bad storms. Like, we haven't even had a hurricane yet. But y'all know what it's like living here. We live in the Gulf region. We know storms and inclement weather are a part of it. Power outages are a part of it. When the power goes out, you want to have that Generac automatic home standby generator. So as soon as the power goes out, boom. It's like nothing ever happened. Your generator powers on, and it runs your whole home. Appliances, even your pool, like everything. Like your HVAC, like nothing happened. Optimize can help. They are Louisiana's #1 Generac dealer. So log on to generatorpeople.com, generatorpeople.com. Remember, right now, they got that free 10-year warranty during this current sales event. Go to generatorpeople.com. That's generatorpeople.com. All right, been a really good show, man. We appreciate y'all for being with us. Verge Ausberry was here in hour 1. If you missed that convo, report about LSU potentially playing a football game in Ireland. So Verge was good enough to join us. We had Ben McDonald last hour. He's been on the call for LSU baseball the last couple days. Thanks to Mincy earlier this hour, Gio Paez just a bit ago. Remember, if you miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org. One segment left here before we put a button on the week. We'll come back, tell you what we learned. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, man, if you're having a graduation party this weekend, you can always get by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. 70 Rouse's locations from Orange Beach, Alabama to the east, all the way to Lake Charles and points in between. Well, the newest location told you about is not far from our studios here on Florida Boulevard in Mid-City. I mean, I got a Rouse's by my house, the Long Farm location there on Airline near Highland. Man, no matter where you are, the one in Burbank right there by LSU's campus, there's Rouse's all over the place. And they are stocked to the gills and ready for your graduation party. So if you need party platters and trays, if it's chicken wings on the party platter, if it's cheese trays or sandwich trays or fruit, vegetable trays, they got it for you. You want catered food, if it's brisket or chicken or whatever it is, they can do that for you as well. Whatever you need for your graduation party to celebrate your grad, Rouse's can help. Get by Rouse's. This feels like home.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Friday edition of AFR. Big shout out to Don Juan Cigar Bar. We appreciate them as always. Great spot. You're looking to get out, maybe have a premium cigar, relax, unwind a little bit. You can hang out at the cigar bar, or you can always walk into the retail shop. Enormous selection where if you want to enjoy your cigar, you can, or if you want to just grab some, put in your home humidor. Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center. If you're looking at Whole Foods, just look to your right. You'll see it right there. Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center. All right, we'll get to what we learned to wrap up. Paul Skenes, what a day today, is incredible. We got Ben McDonald's thoughts on it last hour. We gave you some of our thoughts in hour number 1. Skenes, if you missed it, 6 innings of no-hit baseball against the Cubs at Wrigley. 11 strikeouts, 1 walk. Skenes struck out the first 7 batters he faced. He was on the brink of history. That was 1 shy of the modern era MLB record held by both former Astros lefty Jim DeShays in 1986 and New York Mets right-hander Jacob deGrom in 2014. Paul Skenes did this in his second start ever, striking out 7 consecutive hitters. The all-time record is 9 consecutive strikeouts by Mickey Welch for the New York Gothams. Now, this says in 1984, but I can confirm the New York Gothams did not exist in 1984. So I'm going to guess that the author of this piece intended that to be 1894, is what I'm going to guess. This was Paul Skenes after the day. Or before the day.
Spring, you told me that a lot of teams really only had your college stuff to go off of, but now they have a sample size at AAA and now at this level as well. How do you think you're looking forward to that challenge of the way hitters might be adjusting to you and having that chess match throughout the game?
I mean, go ahead and adjust. Good luck. Yeah, no, I'm ready for it.
When you know you're better than everyone. All right, we'll get to what we learned in a second. Congrats to Paul Skenes on a great day. Quick reminder about South Point Volkswagen. The weekend's here. Most people go test drive vehicles on the weekend, so you can get by South Point. Tell you every day, they're Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. I get so much comfort and peace of mind when I get behind the wheel of my Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport, when I strap Drew into his car seat, because I know I'm driving one of the safest vehicles on the road, but even more so because it's so fun to drive. All the technology, the style, the feel, the performance of luxury, and manufactured in their Chattanooga, Tennessee plant. So you're supporting American jobs as well. It checks every box. If you're thinking of a new car, remember, every college student, $500 off your purchase just for being a college student. That's how they help you out at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Okay, as we get out of here, let's do a little what we learned. Muse, what'd you learn today?
Gio Paez did not know that USC was LSU's opener.
He said until like a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, but when he signed with LSU, didn't know that was the opener. Grew up a big USC fan in LA. Paulie, what did you learn today?
I learned that Ben Mintz did stand-up comedy at the Laugh Factory.
Mincy did stand up in Chicago yesterday. Good for Mincy.
What did you learn, Matt?
I learned that Verge Ausberry hates Gordy Rush and that he confirmed, I will be on the field for the game in Ireland. Have a great weekend.
AFR.
All right, as we get on down the road, I love telling you about Evamore, EVAMOR, evamore.com, natural artesian water. If you watch the show, I got my bottle of Evamore here on the set with me every day. And down here, as I reach down, I've got the bottle that I actually drink from every day during the show. Evamore. I'm telling you, this has changed my and my family's water habits. I will never drink tap water again. I've learned throughout this education process the benefit of a natural artesian water, the pursuit of a true alkaline state. The pH of Evamore is 8.8 to 9.1. It's got an incredibly smooth, fresh, crisp, refreshing taste. And I would challenge anyone, before you grab another one of those plastic water bottles out of a cooler at a gas station or grocery store, read that bottle and see if something's been added or taken away. With Evamore, it is 100% all-natural artesian water. Evamore.com. Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.